And we're live. Welcome, everyone, to the Stud Buds live stream. Tonight, I'm your host, Matt, and I will be joined by an assortment of characters. And they are true characters, but they're great people, and we're excited to bring them all together for a great show. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to give it a second for it to load in for you all before I tap the starting screen. Hope you're all doing well. We have a special guest tonight, by the way, everybody. Lego Master Moto in the house. We will be asking him about his MOCs, his builds, and everything that has to do with Lego Masters, because I'm sure that was a crazy experience for him. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Brad, can you hit the and now any moment now. There we go. Welcome, everybody, and let's start bringing people on. Let's bring the Stud Buds together. First up, we got the technical guy breaking up Brad.
I never was told to do that in the past.
Well, a part of that was I thought you were ready for that because you seemed ready on the technical side beforehand, but that's okay. It's okay. It made for a funny moment. And a part of that too was I couldn't find where the starting segment was, so it was on both of our ends technically, but I was assuming it was on Ethan's.
It's on starting segment. It's exactly
yeah.
I think the show it's supposed.
I think we need to have a more intuitive way that we're going to have our
fix this in the future.
Yes, definitely need to fix our brand. Anyway, second we got Ethan the Artisan, the big man on TikTok. He's viral now. He's officially viral now.
How's it going?
It's going, Ethan.
Are we almost to 80K? I mean, 800K?
We're getting close.
Well, he's certainly grown quickly, so it seems like a lot more. I think you're gonna hit 1 million in a short amount of time, man.
Okay,
you're so close.
All I'm gonna say is I've had a good last couple of months.
Yes,
you definitely have, and I think you've learned what works and what doesn't. And lastly, we have an amazing guest on tonight. Lego Master contestant, Moto
contestant from Lego Master.
There we go. How's it going, Moto? How are you doing tonight?
Good. I'm already impressed by your professionalism and production quality.
Oh boy.
It's usually better.
If we can time it a little better, we're still working on where everything is.
It's all right. It's all right. I'm used to all of it. It's wonderful. You will iron all of that out, I'm sure, over time, and it'll be a well-sanded machine with lots of stripped gears.
This is our 31st episode.
I think we need to reorganize what our behind the show looks like.
Yeah, Mr. Producer.
Various pulleys and wires.
Yes.
There's a lot going on.
And springs.
But hey, we have the assets, and I think that's what's important at the moment. We have everything set up, and that's what makes it fun. But
I did do the same thing recently, and it takes a lot of time to get all those things ready and going and timed and firing, and oof. It's a lot to do. It's a lot to do.
Over 8 months now.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So
we've come a long way, though.
We have it on point, and other times, it used to be not this professional.
The goal is
right.
The goal is that
fun.
You have fun, Moto. The goal is that hopefully you would want to eventually come back in the future, and we don't scare you away. So let's keep it together tonight as best we can.
Do your worst.
I want to quickly say hi to some of the people in the chat, though.
Go for it. Go for it.
Let's go. What's up, Victor Bricks? What's up, Cameron Egan? Billy, what's up, Billy? I saw randomly random Commander Kaylin. Christopher. Lego Leland. I'm just gonna butcher a bunch of people's names.
It's okay. We all do it on TikTok all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Well, what's up, everyone? Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and thank you for coming out and joining us.
Yes, thank you for being here, guys. All right, I think let's get to the moment that kind of everybody is here for. Let's talk to Moto about his experience on the show, his MOCs. He is a Lego extraordinaire, and a guy who has a lot of knowledge behind the bricks. So we're going to pick his mind about it all tonight. Brad, would you like to start with a question?
Yeah, so I'm just gonna start with the basic question. Every Lego builder comes from somewhere, and you're a fantastic Lego builder. Who's ended up on a
Yeah, let me
contestant
set
on
this
Lego
aside.
Masters.
By the way, I was mocking as you guys were doing your thing. So
It's
I'm going to give you my
amazing.
full attention. I'm going to take this sign and put it down.
What is that sign for?
Oh yeah. So that's a good question. So I'm a member of Den Lug. So I have a sign that's been sitting here half built for like a year and a half.
Oh, geez.
It's a Denver Lego users group, right? And I have part of the N on there.
You make me feel a lot better. I have a lot of unfinished MOCs too.
The other part of the N is here that I'm putting on. And then if I quickly grab it, I've got the L and the U.
Wow.
Wow. Well done.
And the G. So what I'm doing is these used to be they are freestanding letters, but I'm modifying them to integrate with that sign so that eventually here in maybe a half day or two, or maybe a full day, I will have this beautiful brick belt
That is awesome.
sign.
And it's awesome
guys,
that from a
if you wanna see
distance
that
it does not
sign-
even look
Yeah.
like Lego.
Yeah, if you put it back,
I love that.
That's the idea. Is at a convention, you set this down, and no
Yep.
one even knows it's Lego.
Mhm.
And the Denver flag colors are dark blue, white, red, yellow, white, blue. So it's the
Oh.
Colorado State colors. And I'd like to get business cards or whatever printed up like this because, yeah, you don't even recognize it. It's like I didn't even know that's Lego. And then you're like,
Yeah. That's the best part about
And
like
for the record,
displaying a mock
guys-
at a Lego convention is because everyone expects it to be Lego, but when they take a deeper look, they're like, wait, that doesn't even look like Lego. That's cool.
yeah, that was my first mock so no one really understood what I was. So I'll go back because you guys were asking about how'd you get into it.
Yeah.
I'll tease out my first mock, which is going to be part of it, and then I'll rewind and go back to the beginning. So when I made my first mock, it was a spaceship, it is a spaceship. It's still there. And I was explaining to people that I was building Lego and making a spaceship, and they're like, "Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Have fun with your sets." And then I brought it because I was talking to one guy. I was like, "Oh no, I'm really into Lego." And then I brought it in and I set it down at my desk. And he's walking by and he looks at it and goes, "Oh." I said, "That's my Lego ship." And he goes, "That doesn't even look like Lego." Like, what's going on? And it kind of I think the people obviously kind of clicked.
Mhm.
So from then on, there was a couple of AFOL fans, and there's a nice break room with this beautiful table. And I would bring in my models every time I finished one. Now I'd bring them in and set them up if I could get them in the car. There's a couple that are too big to drive into the office, but that's kind of a fun thing. But no, I started, and I got to get my facts straight. So I'm going to go look it up very quick because I always miss years and dates and things.
So quickly while you're looking that up, guys, if you want to see that sign he's building in person, that's gonna be at Brick Rodeo, right?
No, I'm flying in.
Okay.
No,
Well-
they will see a really cool rainbow that's current, and I have part of the mock behind me, but the
Okay.
rainbow is getting broken down so I can get it into a carry-on luggage.
Well,
So-
Ethan and Moto will be at Brick Rodeo if you guys are going that way. Just so you guys can look out for those two people there.
And also, don't forget, go and check Moto out on social media. His Instagram
Yes.
and TikTok are linked down below. He's
wow.
also on
Thank you,
Flickr
guys.
as well. So just make sure you go and check him out. Give him some love. He's a great guy, and he makes some amazing stuff. Very inspirational.
And I'm not like you guys. I'm not like all powerful TikTokers, but I've started, so it's kind of fun.
I wouldn't call us powerful by any
Yeah.
means.
That's
But
how
we have
all of
some
us
fun.
started. Was
We have
just
some fun.
fun.
I've got like 2K and change, so that's nothing compared to what you guys have.
You're growing, man. You'll
Growing.
be there in no time. Believe me.
Yeah. So I was in AFL since February 12th, 2016.
Okay.
So been doing it that makes it 5.5 years, if I do the math right. And then so I'll talk about the first year. The first year, the way I got into Lego was Uncle Dan sent small art director a Lego set, and he was young, and I was worried he was going to chew the pieces and eat them. But he had grown out of that, so he put it together, did a great job.
Need to do
And
the Lego
shortly
candy.
after that, I went to a thrift store And the original Lego set that my brother and I used to play with in the bathtub all the time is a firefighting boat.
In the bathtub, did you lose any pieces down the drain?
No, I have it over there. I wound up buying it again.
Wow.
But the reason is I found it in the thrift store. The original box was there in the thrift store.
That's awesome.
For a few dollars, and I got it. And from there, to save money, I started to buy bulk lots at thrift stores and then tumble out the pieces and then restore them.
Oh, wow.
And after about a year, I was at about 200 sets. So I definitely had a problem.
It's a good problem.
so I had started to use Bricklink to get, fill in the pieces. I had been, only about 50% of what's in there can be recovered because there's a lot of small sets. It's not even worth it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I had done sorting. I had containers going. I still use the same system. I don't have a lot of drawers like you guys do. I do everything out of Ziploc bags.
And that works.
Most of my collection is like that. Right
I have
behind me over
containers.
here.
Yeah, I do have containers for the stuff I use all the time.
You don't want to see my sorting technique.
don't think I do.
Because I don't have room to have any air.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing about when you do Ziploc bags is you crush all the air out of it, and you could get a good 35, 40 pounds of Lego into a 60-quart Sterilite container, and then I rack it. But yeah, after that time, I slowed down, and my brother, once again, to his credit, he said, "Oh, you built great spaceships when we were young," and I tried it out, and I spent maybe 2 months building my first spaceship, and went on spring break after posting it to Flickr, and my phone started exploding, and it turned out the Brothers Brick had featured it, and I didn't know what the Brothers Brick blog was.
That's awesome.
And I went back to work, and I said, "Oh, my phone blew up, last week." He's like, "What?" And I was like, "There's this blog called the Brothers Brick or something. They liked it." He's like, what? Do you not understand? So I just kept mocking from there. So I've been doing the mocking stuff since February 3rd, 2017. Not to be exact, but to be very
You have the time too with that?
yeah. So from there I just kept making lots of spaceships and magical spaceships and crazy stuff. Spaceship! and from there, that was my first big display, was continually building this theme I called Astra. And the idea is if Castle and Space had kept evolving with modern parts and merged, you kind of get this bright elves in space with friendly colors and highlights and bursts.
Yeah.
And then I think definitely in the last year, about a year ago, I finished up the Wolf. And so that's kind of the other half of what I build, is these big polytexture sculptures. So I do polytexture sculptures, and then I do lots of spaceships. And then one tradition is about every year I'll stop and I'll make a vehicle. So 1 year and make instructions for it. So I've got the Impala from Supernatural. That's one of them. So Sam and Dean's Impala. And then behind me, I've got the V8 Interceptor from Mad Max.
Nice.
And
nice.
that's something I did. So that's fun. Yeah, that's kind of how I evolved. And one trick for you guys is every time I made a mock, I would try to master a new way of building.
Mm-hmm.
So the first spaceship was kind of working out snot techniques and mechanics. The second one was building the widest possible snot wings I could out of brick to keep them from falling. And then from there, I mastered Technic framing, clip and bar techniques was in there. And I built this gigantic bionicle dragon that's like 6 feet by 4 feet tall. And it's this monster huge bionicle dragon. That was to try to master bionicle. Yeah. I looked at, so construction or bionicle was another technique to learn. And after a while, I keep doing it like that. But the rainbow is brick bending, destructive brick bending tactics. Tried that out. That was fun. That took maybe 3 days to put together.
So you're all for illegal techniques. That is awesome. You have my respect.
Oh, you want to hear something even worse?
Oh,
I'll
boy.
show you how bad I am. I'm really, really bad. Now, the roof on this broke from the event yesterday, so I haven't repaired it fully. But if you look at this car from Mad Max, and I'm going to turn this light over here on. because it's black brick, which is tough to see. So this is the Mad Max V8 Interceptor. It's Technic figure scaled.
Okay.
Is it this one?
Yeah, that's the one. So yeah, if you look at the engine block, right? If you look closely at the engine block, it's silver, right? So none of the engine block top, that top piece with the intake, that is molded in official Lego silver. All the rest of those pieces are painted. They're spray painted to match.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow. You
so
are
you wouldn't-
bad.
You wouldn't even know. You wouldn't even know. But no, I felt bad about painting brick, but then I watched a video from somewhere about Lego designers working on the Lego Movie 2 stuff, and they had these prototypes, and they had painted a ton of pieces.
Lego
in
master
different
or
colors.
Lego designers are the word. Like because they want to design the sets, and so they're willing to do whatever it takes to get what they want, and then
I kind of took that to heart. I'm like, I don't like doing it, but darn it, if I need a color and it's got to be there, it doesn't exist. I'm breaking out the spray paint, and
I personally wouldn't do it, but I respect it.
Yeah, I went to art school, so I know how to paint appropriately. There's not glue drips. It's not horrific.
You can spray paint and just shake it.
Well, shake it, but it's also high. I mean, I could go on how you paint appropriately. I mean, I learned how to use airbrush and all that, but yeah. And then another part of that model, the first step in making that build is taking a grill piece, sliding a piece underneath it, and then using a razor blade to cut it in half.
Wow.
So I will take pieces and modify them as well if it's to the necessary art scale of getting something exact to a movie. Not that often though. I don't like doing it, but if I'm forced into a corner, I will do it.
Yeah. Well, I think that is the difference between Lego MOCs and Lego sets, right? It's the art form behind it, and it becomes more than something that is just Lego, and that's what amazes me about your MOCs too, because like you said, you haven't been doing this for an incredibly long time.
No. I came out of nowhere. I got a comment from Flynn from season 1. He's like, "You just popped out of the earth fully formed, didn't you?"
And that's how it usually goes.
Like some Clay Golem. I just it's a me, Moto. Yeah.
Love it. Ethan, you got any questions for our Moto guest?
I have a very important question. Where did you get that swooshable shirt?
Yes, not all of them. The majority of the Lego shirts that I wear are are on TeePublic, and you can just go there. So at one point, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, I decided I was going to dedicate myself to the craft. And one of the things I decided was, when it's hot out, look at Ethan. I was only going to wear exclusively Lego t-shirts to work.
Oh, wow. That's the
so
commitment.
I went to TeePublic and I found all these awesome designs, and I just went through their rated like 8 or 10 t-shirts. And since then, my wife knows that I like them. So as they disintegrate, a new one will come in and replenish them.
Yeah.
We need to send you a Lepin shirt, Moto.
No, don't do that. It burns.
Yeah.
Well, I had to quickly check out the website, and they have some really cool Lego ones, especially a Black Falcon one, which I might be picking up.
Yeah. And I have a Hinkle. I think I have a Hinkle in there. I've got a couple official Lego shirts, but Hinkle's shirts are always great too. Yeah. Okay. Or you could go to motomerchmart.com and buy your own Moto merch too.
Ooh, that was a big shout out. I
got a little plug in there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the worst when it comes to that.
Go for it. I can't blame you. Ethan, ask your real question.
Okay. What is your process with like a MOC when it comes, like, what's your process? Is it just out of the blue, you have an idea and you just do it right away? Or do you think about it for a while? What is your process when you're making these big MOCs like that wolf?
Yeah. Like at home or on the show? Because they're two very, very different ways of building. Completely different ways of building.
First, do it at home and then just explain. And after that, explain how it is on the show.
At home, I just imagine something that I want to build, and then I sit down and start building it. Now, the way I construct it, or the technique, takes a little bit of time for me to think about doing. So the sign I'm building right now is nothing special. That's just whatever. It's just laying brick and doing a little bit of snot work here and there. The stuff like the wolf took some time. That one took a couple 100 hours because I had never. So what's funny is it's called polytexture. I didn't invent it. Okay, so the guy I learned it from, I saw him at a convention here, and his name is Riley, and he has a YouTube channel called Brick Science, and he's blown up. Yeah, but what it is, it's using the mixel joints. You know those little toe ball joints? If you don't, I can go get them. They're right there.
No, I know exactly which ones you're talking about.
So you take the little mixel joints and you offset them between plates so you can start to angle all of the different wedge plates together and make them mesh into a poly form. So what I did is I just pulled up pictures of wolves, and when I started, it looked pretty awful. The first couple of weeks were pretty bad, and then once I kind of had the technique for the eye down, which I'll pull the model here in a little while because I know you guys want to see it. But once I had the eyes down, that set the scale for how big the model had to be because the eyes set the dimensions for most animals. Yes. And then, yeah, you can see there. And then I started to shape the nose, the top of the mouth, the cheeks, and the forehead. From there, I think I worked it backwards a little bit. And then I added the jaw. And then I had to add the frame to make it hold up so I could keep working on it. And then from there, I went down to get the shaping under the chin, and then back outwards for the last ring in the back and down.
Wow.
That is, I mean, that's awesome. And you use, I know you use a mixel joints to connect everything together.
Yeah. And when I show you it, I've done tutorials on how to do it and offset it. But what's crazy about the wolf is there were times where it took me about 30 minutes to make one connection.
Wow.
Because I have to reach my arm into the inside and on one side, and then I had to blindly feel around and float it until it went. And also, I had to buy this tool.
What is that?
These are forceps designed for like automotive or whatever, for picking up parts that fall down deep cracks and stuff. But it's bad. It's bad when you're trying to set a brick by doing this.
Yeah.
This kind of
well, I'm sure too you knocked other parts off as you were trying to put it in, or at least that's what I would do if I were working on something.
No, I'm lucky. I a fun little trick is practice card magic one summer for about a month and a half.
I like where this is going.
No. I mean, so like, what were they saying? People can't do whatever. Anyway, when you do card magic, you get a lot of dexterity in your hands. And there's a lot of things online and TikTok. It's like only 1% of the population can touch their stupid fingers together like that. Or only 1% can touch their fingers together like that. But yeah, there you go. He's doing the Ant-Man thing. Yeah, but that is a big deal. Is once you get the dexterity and strength to be able to do card magic. Yeah, so you did a nice. That was only a little touch of a flash there, man. That was really good.
I'm not.
But no,
I didn't know we were judging people.
No, once you get the fingers, I flash really bad, so you're better than I am.
Yeah.
But once you get the finger dexterity down and the strength to do unusual pushes, you can do a lot of brick. What am I trying to say? The way you assemble the thing together even gets more complicated. Not just the technique, but the actual act of binding the brick together.
Wow. You
can do a lot of crazy you can see that I'm doing inside reaching clutch stuff. But awesome. Card magic helped. Yeah. And then building for hours and hours and hours every week helps. But yeah. Yeah, if you want to see the polytexture, I can pull that down now if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Go for it. Just be careful.
Yeah.
You know, Moto, I'm going to use that same story to describe how I build too. I like that.
Yeah, so I've only knocked the ear off of this thing once. putting it back, but
This is like the one time he pulls it off.
Oh.
This show, and it's just so like-
no, it should
Dun
be
dun
fine. I
dun
did
dun.
this yesterday. Or no, on Friday I was showing it off.
Ooh.
So cool. I love the
Wow.
tongue.
Yeah, the tongue is all just snot work with curved slopes and tiles to
It's
give
so
it
tonguey.
because it'll shine. It'll shine like a wet sloppy tongue, whereas everything else I want
Yeah.
to keep rough. And then every single tooth in there is a different design to match the molar or canine,
Wow.
and they're set in the correct place. I was just staring at wolf photos like nonstop. So what most people don't recognize is how big it is, the scale of it.
Yeah.
That's pretty big.
Because I always get people who are like, you should wear that like a mask, and now you can see.
That's like
It's not-
that's
it's
like
just
the
not gonna
size of your
happen.
body.
So this is the AFOL view that everybody likes.
Wow.
Ooh.
So you can see you use the mixel joints in there, and then you always offset them by one plate on the top to build some distance. And then I like to lock a bunch of plates around them to double the clutch power of the studs. Or
Mhm.
sometimes, get that in. And then there's spars coming off to make sure that it keeps the same dimensions left and right. It doesn't wiggle too much. And then that's all bound, and as you can see, into a Technic frame, but it's completely hollow. So it's a lot lighter than I think a lot of people would think.
That's insane.
That's so cool. I think the inside is just as powerful as the outside.
Yeah, and then the ears are shadow boxed, so they're 3D ears with a shadow box effect. That's what makes the inside of the ears dark. And then once again, there's the blackout for the eyes and the mouth and the front.
If
And
this
yeah, it's
doesn't,
just a lot of. It's just you have to be really good at visualizing geometry and working out the Lego stud distance math to figure out the angles.
if this
Wow.
doesn't give you guys motivation, then I don't know what.
It is. Yeah, that's the t-shirt. The t-shirt says #motivation.
There you go.
So yeah, my fan base is called the Motivation Nation. Whenever I do a YouTube video next to the washer and dryer, that's called the Moto Dojo. I mean, it's a whole thing at this point.
I love that you're self-aware.
I am a self-aware cognizant AI. Yeah, I'll show you another fun build. So this was not mine. This is a small art director. He was doing a build camp and decided he wanted to make a Lego Nerf dart.
Whoa.
Oh, it's used tires. I love that.
Yeah, he used tires.
Wow.
He's like, I made a Lego Nerf dart. And I was like, we're keeping that.
That's fun.
That's awesome.
That's a lot of fun. Well, I think we lost Brad here. Hopefully he comes back as soon as possible.
That's all right. Hit me with another question.
Well, what was the difference between what you would normally do at home and your thought process between that and the show?
Yeah, I already spaced out on that part of the question. Yeah.
All good.
No, so when I'm at home and making art, like I said, I'm learning a new technique, and a lot of these builds, they rack in, like on the low end, it's 20 hours. Like if I do 20 hours, that's nothing. That's like a week. I just shred something out. But a lot of these, the larger models that I want to display, they're coming in on the low end at 80 hours, usually 100 to 120. Some of them maybe start to encroach on 180, 200 hours.
Wow.
And you don't get that on the show.
No.
At all.
How do you calculate that? Because when I build a mock, that takes a long time. I don't even know. Like when you get 100 hours plus.
Yeah. I'm very disciplined. So when I started to really crank up my mock building, and it was about 1.5 years ago, I looked at it like I saw the show as maybe a possibility, right? Someday.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way I looked at it is Lego Masters is like the Olympics of Lego building.
Oh yeah.
It just doesn't happen every 4 years. So maybe it's the Grand Cup. But you have to train like an Olympic athlete. It's a niche sport. It's not followed by everybody. But if you're going to do it, I said, I'm going to build 20 hours a week.
Wow.
So it's 2 to 3 hours every single weekday, followed by 4 to 6 hours every single weekend day. And then I would just count the weeks, and I would go, okay, that's 20. And I knew some weeks I was like, that's 20, that's 22, that's 20, 22, 20, whatever. And then, and I discount waiting for bricklink orders. So sometimes I put things on pause.
Mm-hmm.
I put it on hold and I stop the clock. And then very easily, I can just go back and remember. I was like, oh, that was a 3-week build. That's 60 hours.
Yeah,
Right
I really like that because there's some days where I spend 6 hours on a build, and then some days where I don't build at all. Where it's a nice even balance, and that's what I like about that.
It's very disciplined,
Yeah.
though, like you said, though. Very disciplined.
No, it is. It's like training like an athlete, and that's kind of the way I approached it. I was probably the only one that was crazy enough to do that, but it worked out well. And then when you come to the show, you have 12 hours until you get to the finale, which is 24 usually. So there's a lot of, I call it building artwork versus competitive speed building.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so competitive speed building is very different. You want to, first of all, take away all the fancy techniques, just strip them and throw them out of the window.
Ooh, that's hard.
Ethan, that's all you are.
No, and by fancy, I mean stuff like polytexture. So snot work is achievable. But really go back to the basics of just basic brick sculpting, just using regular basic brick. And how do you sculpt a shape out of basic brick? And then how do you maybe do some snot techniques and use some plates and some nice little flair to make your model come to life, right? You want to spend a good quarter to a third of your time making the showpiece, the center focus of attention, whatever that's going to be. It doesn't have to be one thing. It can be a few things. And then from there, there's certain other speed building tactics, like you want to make things that are highly repeatable. So if you can make something with tentacles, like I think it's Zach and Wayne's whale and squid or something like that. If you look at a lot of those builds coming from Whack and Zane, Zach and Wayne, oh my God, I went full Ninjago there for a minute. You see that they solve it once and then they immediately manufacture the rest. Another great example from season 1 is the first episode, the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
So when you make one slice of that pie and solve it, you just set it down. And you just machine the rest of this out, and you just repeat it, and it goes up very quickly, and you're done. Another tactic is modularity. So Tyler and Amy were really good about whenever they built something, they would build models on little islands. And then when they had to set the final composition down, they'd set the islands down into a composition. But they weren't locking themselves into a pre-described number of things. If they had 5, that's great. If they went up with 3 and didn't achieve a 4th, they would just rearrange the look to accommodate 3, and it would look good in the layout.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more tactics. In the end, one common thing that I do is I follow 5 S's. Hi, Matt. Welcome back.
Hi.
Sorry. I accidentally pulled a Zane and hit the side button on my mouse, and then I was trying to get back in, and it was like, yeah, your camera's not supported on this. So I had to restart my computer to get back.
We're glad to have you back, Brad.
Sorry.
So the 5 S's are number 1, structure. You got to solve your structure first.
Take notes, kids.
Yeah, and I jump a little bit between them. That's only because I'm like really good. I can get away with jumping levels sometimes, but when you begin, you want to solve your structure. So once you do your structure, you want to get into the surfacing. What's going to be your surfacing treatment? If you have that down, then you move on to styling. Wait, let me think. No, sorry, scratch all that. You don't start with structure. I missed an S.
Once you're a Lego master, you can rearrange it.
Yeah. So what do you guys think the first S is? The first S begins without you even touching anything. Story. That's right. Boom. Number 1 is story. So have a good story, kind of have an idea of what you're trying to say. What are you going to clearly show someone? Like I said, I'm going to make an epic wolf, and it's going to be a spirit wolf, and the Game of Thrones people are going to lose their dang minds, but I can't use that because of IP. So I'll change the color, and then it'll all be good, right? Or sometimes story comes to you already pre-done. Like anybody's building Star Wars or Harry Potter or any intellectual property, the story's already there. You don't have to work on story. You just pick the part of the story you want to display, and you go for it. But yes, story is number 1, structure, surface, styling. What's number 5, guys? By the way, your entire model should be finished at this point. Completely done.
was gonna say stability, but that doesn't make sense.
No. Stickers.
My least favorite.
Stickers.
Yeah. So whether you not everybody, you don't have to use stickers. Like Lego Masters, the competition, you don't use stickers; they're not available. But for me, every once, on some of my really high-end models, I've started to go in and buy sticker packs off of Bricklink that I think just look cool, and then I'll even get in there and cut them. I'll cut them out custom to fit the piece I'm putting on, and I will put stickers on. I usually like to do anything that's like a bright reflective surface. I like to do that. I like the bright pink colors. So I'm always grabbing friends' colors, all sorts of crazy stickers. But sometimes a sticker can immediately associate someone with a theme.
Sure.
Like I made this thing called the Sis Shuttle BFF right before the Lego Movie 2 came out. And it hit home. It landed right on the money for that movie. But the idea was elves and friends are working together to make a magical space shuttle to fly to the Sistar system. But I put a Heart Lake Air sticker on the bottom where most people can't see it. But what I do as at conventions is kids are like, oh, I love that. And I go, okay. And I pick it up. And as I swoosh it, all of a sudden you see the Heart Lake Airline logo on the bottom of the thing. It's to me like, oh, that's a friend's, that's a friend's thing.
That's really cool. It's very creative. I love that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I collect sticker sheets for the heck of it. But even though people hate them, a little touch of sticker here and there can sometimes really make a mock stand out from other mocks that are more not stickered, if you think about it. So sometimes when I lay my stickered stuff down, I want the stickers to really complement the model and sell the story. But there's no reason why you can't, mock stickers. I mean, stickers are just another thing you can use.
Yeah, Matt, stickers can be great.
I think for mocks it's very interesting. I just get Moto. Sometimes I get mad, and I talk about this a lot on the show when Lego doesn't print a piece that might be easily printable, but they just make it a sticker anyway, and then it's very hard to apply. And
yeah, the big mindset. I used to hate stickers, but now I love them. Here's the reason why: if you have a printed piece in your collection, right? Let's say this 2x3 was a printed piece.
Oh, we got Robo Moto.
Oh boy.
Just give it a second.
It'll load. He's really in Robo mode.
Okay, I've had a fly while he's in Robo. I've had a fly flying around me for the past 6 days every time I sit in this chair.
Brad, go take a shower, Brad. Come on. You don't want to have flies flying around you. I'm joking. I love you, Brad. He's still going.
How can you smell me from there?
Hey, you're closer than people think.
Hey, you're actually in the next room.
Is he coming?
He should be. He did this when he was with Blaze too.
Okay. I didn't know if he wanted to restart his.
Ethan, take back your Wi-Fi.
Oh, we're back. Yeah, Ethan, take back your Wi-Fi. Thank you, randomly random. That was the perfect comment from you.
Also, guys, Zane isn't here. He's had family stuff, so he'll be back next week. So yes, you're back.
Yes, you're back. Well,
All right,
we missed some really important information.
So what's really awesome about where I live is the internet will just decide that it doesn't want to work for 2 minutes straight, and then it'll pop back.
Same.
Ethan has the same problem. We understand that very well in this show. It's all good. No worries.
So where did I cut out?
The 2x3.
Yes.
Oh, stickers versus printed. So the ultimate decision point, I think, which seems wise, is if something's going to be universally used over and over again, like the 100 kroner bill, or krona, or I forget what the currency is in Lego speak, but
the $100
currency makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to have that because it's going to be used a ton. If it's a one-off thing, then stickers give you the ability to not apply them, and then you can use the brick in any mock, and it gives you more universal application to it, I think.
Sure.
I've kind of converted. I like stickers. I think stickers can enhance the model and make it look amazing on certain sets.
Yeah.
I know Justin Ramsden is if you hit a Ramsden set, oh my God, you are in for a heck of a sticker fest. That dude's sticker sheets are like, they look like sailcloth. I mean, it's just.
Are those all the Speed Champion sets?
No, he doesn't do Speed Champions, but yeah, Speed Champions is another area of overwhelming stickage.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But those ones, my son leaves them off, and I'm like, hey, great, can I have them? He's like, sure, I don't want the sticker. I'm like, mine.
I'm the same way.
If you're like a mech builder, man, you get some awesome stickers in the Speed Champion sets.
Mm-hmm.
That is
like with my RC car that I got. I thought it came with a good amount of stickers, and I thought about putting it on, but it's an RC car. I'm going to be scratching it, so I was like, might not be the best set to put stickers on.
I'll give you another great sticker hint. Do you guys like making like automobiles with a lot of chrome detailing on them?
If I have chrome, I would.
I'm sure somebody watching will. Well, Ethan, it's just you and I.
Sorry, my dehumidifier turned on, and I wanted to mute it so you guys couldn't hear it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. I think he is back, but I don't think we can tell that he's back. Moto has gone into Drax mode.
He's gone in the quantum realm.
It almost sounds like he's singing.
I think he knows, like.
He was doing a book prize. He got I think he was doing Mr. Roboto, and it was really funny.
I think yeah. Nope.
So close.
Not yet.
Well, I got this rose.
Ethan, give us something.
Yeah.
I got this rose looks really nice.
I have
back.
Fluffy.
Oh.
I got. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Okay. So here's my question to you two. Do you know if we can ask Moto a lot of information, like in regards to Lego Masters and his time on the show itself?
He said yes. He'll answer it. He'll just not answer it if he can't answer it.
Got it.
There is one thing I don't know if we can show photos of him on the show, because he was talking about you can't use Lego Masters logos and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the MOCs.
The reason that I thought we might be able to is that he posted some of those on his own Instagram, so that's why
we can quickly ask him, but I don't know.
He's back. Were you singing to us while you were in robot mode there?
So the minute I go into robot mode, I try to do two songs: Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. And then I try to do Cher's Do You Believe in Life After Love? And that one, if I hit it just right, it auto-tunes just perfectly.
I love that.
And then I also do Disney's The Black Hole, but by that time it never comes through. But I always like to do the Vincent or what's the line where the guy's falling in and he wants the robot to save him? I always forget the line, but I try to do something along the lines like, Vincent, save me. But anyway,
I love that.
So there is this metallic ductwork tape. This isn't the right kind, but if you can find it in a hardware store, it's a bit pricey. It will be completely reflective, and it's actual metallic tape. And I'll have a little bit of printing on it. But what I do is you take out your trusty corked back ruler. You lay a strip of this down, you put the cork back ruler in there, and then if you have, some people use X-Acto knives.
Sort of exact zero.
Yeah, where is it? Oh, here it is. I haven't cut a sticker in a long time, so this is kind of buried. But here's another tool you guys might find useful. So there's a company called Havalon, and they sell this thing called a Paranta. And what it does, it's used for skinning small game, but you actually buy a surgical scalpel blade.
Wow.
Okay.
So if you want to step up the game one step above X-Acto knife, get a surgical blade, because these things, I'm very careful with this thing whenever I'm even touching it, because it's a surgical blade. You can really mess yourself up pretty quick.
Be careful
yeah,
at home, kids, please.
Yeah,
Use a brick separator.
Yeah, but if you want a pencil thin line of like pinstriping or chrome accents on a vintage car, if
Yeah.
I get what he's talking about.
Yeah. This is very technical. I love it. I hope that our viewers are also getting something really good out of this. There's a lot of information here to absorb, people.
Yes.
And I've heard some singing, I think.
Yep, he's trying. He's trying.
Oh boy. This is fun. This is fun. But Ethan, we're used to this because of you. You know that?
Yeah.
You've been a lot better recently, though. Did you change something up?
The Wi-Fi's here.
That would do it.
Well, Moto has blocked his door with a ton of Lego sets, so I don't think he's going to be retrieving the Wi-Fi. Oh boy. Anything you guys have for the good of the order that you would like to bring to the table?
We got Mocky time. I can show some of his mocks. Moto mocks.
I kind of want him to be there for that.
Yeah, that would be ideal.
How was our week? How was our week?
Guys, I'll quickly show off this. Get to your local Lego store and spend over $150 and get this right now.
It's Christmas in July, people.
Yeah. Honestly, though, this set, you didn't? Was your store out?
No. I spent $180. I didn't get it.
Go back. Go back and
receipt.
bring your receipt. Yeah, if you go back with your receipt, I was like, hey, I didn't get this. They should give you one.
Okay.
I feel like Ethan's not as good with confrontation as you, Brad, in that way. Here's the receipt. Can I get the Christmas Carol set?
Just be like, look, I bought this set and I didn't get the Christmas Dickens. Which honestly, this is super cool. If you can get it, I'd highly recommend it. It's got great parts on it.
When does it start? When does it end, Brad?
It's if you look on the Lego website, it's still going. I know the shoe, like my store, is completely out of the shoes.
Yeah,
the small ones.
That's what you wanted. You said. You wanted the shoe.
But this one we got tons of, and I know that because not many people are going over 150. So
we have them back again. You keep running away.
No, this is not a Wi-Fi. This is hardwired Cat 7 into the router. So I went upstairs. My cable modem is overheating. So I took a duster can, I turned it upside down, and I just jetted that thing with CO2, so I should be good.
We're good to go now, people. The Moto modem is together.
No, I was like, the cable modem's really hot, and then I realized, I looked at it, it's like 85 in that room. I couldn't believe it in our living room right now.
Holy crap.
Wow. It's crazy stuff.
Uh-oh.
But, no. It must be really hot. Where is Moto from?
Denver.
Denver? Are we at liberty to say? Do we?
It's in that state. He was telling me earlier.
Okay.
Colorado, it's because he's with that lug. He's at the Denver lug. So.
Yes, that would make sense now.
He lives in Alaska, but he still goes to the Denver lug.
He's here.
Yeah, I live in the Denver area.
Okay, cool. Awesome. What's the temperature there?
Today it was about 98 or 99.
Oh, wow. Getting hot.
Holy crap.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. That's truly Robo. But he's still coming through, and that's the interesting part. It's not like he's just dying like Ethan used to. Oh. He has frozen in this very interesting position now.
Hey, I was gonna get a screenshot.
Oh boy. Well, Moto, we do have a lot of questions for you. We hope we can get through them. I think he's coming back. I think you're right.
I will unfreeze him.
We all must use our Lego power to unfreeze Moto. Brad, we need you to. Brad, it was because you didn't use your
I'm sorry.
Lego magic.
So I was quickly checking up on something.
Well, Ethan, you have the floor. Show us something cool.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I guess this week I got a big set, probably my biggest Lego set I ever got. I got these roses, and I absolutely love them.
Who's the
look at
lovely
these.
lady that you're giving those to?
I
There has
I
to
don't
be
know.
someone.
There's
I think Brick Fair Rodeo is what he's
Oh!
preparing.
yeah. I'm gonna walk down the door. Oh yeah.
Ladies, I got a big mock here.
Oh my goodness, Brad, G-rated content.
He has a
I
big
got-
mock though.
Look at this. I got the blacksmith. This thing is awesome. I'm super excited.
Ethan, I'm adopting you as my son, and for
Oh
the
my
first time, I
goodness.
can say I am proud of you.
I also want to say, Brad, you said you loved him as a son on his stream last night when he showed
Yep.
that, and I thought at first that meant you were his son because I read it wrong, and I was a little confused. It was late at night, and I was a little confused as to what that meant, but it makes sense now going back.
I got Fluffy this week.
Fluffy.
Beautiful.
I
Brad,
was
are you
able to actually-
collecting the new castle sets, or what's your thought there? What's going on?
Now that I can get them for a bit cheaper, yes, I am.
Certainly helps.
I wanted to collect them originally. I just didn't think I'd have the money to, and now that I work for the company, I've looked at the sets a lot. They're really cool, and honestly, I put that in the bathroom together so far. Super cool.
That's the hard part about working at a Lego store is that you see all the sets that you want on
You
a
know what's
daily
worse?
basis.
Yeah.
I am tempted to buy Mario sets just so that I can get to know them and figure them out. Like,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Well, he's
All right.
back. Hopefully for good
There you
this time. Here we go.
I switched my cell phone with cellular traffic, so that's enough of that.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we are.
We are going to make this work.
We
Thank
are
you.
back.
We appreciate your dedication to the stream.
I'm going to MacGyver this thing, man. It's like I was getting
Whatever
my
works.
knife ready.
Okay, here we are. So, Moto, I have a question for you. Are we allowed to show any photos from Lego Masters? Not even something that you would have posted on Instagram or anything like that. Okay.
No.
Well, we'll just free ball it then.
Yeah, we have permission to use those assets, but you guys
Got
are
it.
not cleared. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. Well,
Okay.
thank you for clarifying. I'm glad that I asked. All
No,
right.
let's talk-
it's not their fault. This is something where Fox owns that stuff, and
Totally
they're very
understood.
particular about how it's used.
No,
Totally.
we completely understand. No, that's we
So
can
what
switch
I
to
would
Maki
like
time.
to if you can talk, can you talk about what you built there?
Oh, of course, yeah. I can
Okay.
actually talk about anything that happened.
Could you, I think this would do everybody a big favor. Could you go through maybe each build and give us like the highlights from that episode, or what you
challenge.
learned from it, what the challenge was? Yeah. What it was like to work with somebody else as well, building a mock, which is something new for you.
Yeah. So Paris and I do have different opinions on our different builds. Some of them are pretty crazily different. I'll try to describe the ones I know that are different. So the first one was the parade.
Mm-hmm.
So build a parade float. This one was a lot like the first episode of season 1, a little bit trickier, I think. So we had less area than the so what was it? They were making rides, right? With the monorail track, you had to complete and make your own
Yes.
theme park, dream park. So they had more base plates. And then what they did is they built on it and then they rolled it in position for dream park, theme park. For ours, I believe we had 2 48s base plates, but they were basically put down on top of a custom machined aluminum frame. And the aluminum frame was pretty beefy. If you see people, none of us were carrying that thing. It was really heavy. And then it had a pin. So the way that the parade worked is you had a pin, a steel pin, and there's a slot receptor in a track that went around the city. And you had to pick up your build and then gradually lift the front and slide in position and make sure it went down tight and connected so it could be pulled around the track.
Okay.
Wow.
So one thing people didn't realize is the weight of that bed is really heavy. You had to move your table up to the position of where the parade would occur, and then you had to lift your model up and then move it in place and then set it down into the thing.
Wow.
So there was building for strength in having to lift this crazy heavy aluminum base into place and lock it down. And you guys could tell that we had a difficulty with the heads flying off.
Yes.
So building
some drama for reality TV for sure.
That was not drama. That really happened, and they didn't show all the times the head flew off. So it didn't just come off once. I think it came off 3 different times. One time it completely obliterated, and I was just putting it back together. So in the beginning, Paris's gearing was like super fast, and that's what spun it off. But the idea was, one robot had the motion of the arms and the head and the torso, and the 2 robots had slightly different mechanics, but that was the idea. On that one, the mechanism took so long that I think it was a good build. I liked the characterization of the robots, but I really wanted a lot more presence, like the physical presence they were giving to be there. And I wanted a greater sense of the room and the space to be more fleshed out. But luckily that was a practice run.
Yeah.
So that one was pretty good. I think
but I mean, it looked cool. Building with motors is something that everyone doesn't know.
Oh no, I did.
It's really trial and error. Like
I was doing the aesthetics. So I did the heads of the robots and the bodies and stuff like that. A lot of the color choices were mine, and then Paris was dedicated to building the mechanisms for driving the robots because he's a Lego educator who does that stuff.
Got it. Yeah, I think to
cool.
myself, if I was on that show,
that is hard.
Yes, and if I didn't know motors going into it, and that's the first build, I wouldn't know what to do.
Some people didn't. So you just the answer is you keep it very simple, right? The simplest thing to do is you make something spin because the motor already spins.
Sure.
Like a Ferris wheel. It's rotating. It rotates, right? Don't try to the sea serpent, had 3 different functions, and
that was an epic build,
and it came through, right? The second one was Hero Shot.
Yes, the elf.
Oh, the elf, yeah, Princess Varuna. That one didn't get a lot of airtime, but what I was really proud of is I had been watching a lot of Mythbusters as a kid.
Nice.
So basically, I was designing a shaped charge. So they gave you 3 charges, and you got to determine where they'd be placed. You could not place them yourselves. That's an explosives expert's job. So I was responsible for doing the explosion mechanism, and Paris was taking all of the stuff in the front and detailing it out. So what I did is I made 3 separate drawers with tiles on top that could slide into receptors in the bottom. That's where the explosive charges would go. And I interlocked them really tight. So I had these really locked boxes. And I brick belt loops in the back. So you know how medieval doors, how they're always barricading them by putting a board down?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so there were loops against the entire back of the model. And then there was 2 loops on the back of each drawer. And when you slid them in, there was a gigantic Lego bar that I put the little printed construction hazard symbols on each end. And it was really clear that what you do is you'd slide that lock out, you pull the drawers out, slip the explosives in there, slide them back in, and then lock it in place. And that way, all the explosive power would go upwards. That was the only opening. So I built a very fragile system of little pyramids, so that the blast would come up, it would knock the pyramids open, and then that's how I got from 3 to 6 different packs, and that's how I got the Roy G. Biv, is I then had a slot where I crumbled in the red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, and violet, all in a row. And then there was another section that had a bunch of translucent pieces behind the dam gates, and that secondary explosion was supposed to blow the red doors forward and have water go spraying, but that charge didn't quite work.
Got
So at
it.
least we got the rainbow lofting up, and that looked amazing. I thought the rainbow pattern was really unique to our team, controlling a colored burst, because we had pulled the water. Water was our explosive element. So our thought was, well, when water explodes, it should make a rainbow.
That's really well thought out and creative. I love that.
Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
science, right? Using science. Oh,
Yes.
So we're going to make it rain was the big idea. Is that and it also tied back to where I live in Denver. Right now we're in an extreme drought. Water conservation and resourcefulness is really a big problem. And so the story was Dam Corporation was hoarding all the water with this big dam. And so all the animals in this once vibrant valley had called upon Princess Varuna to use her magic rainbow powers to basically destroy the dam and release the water back, so there could be a more perfect balance between water usage between the animals who needed it and the people who needed it.
Wow.
So yeah, we had a magic. If you still frame it, there are rainbow cracks of different colors going out and then up the inside of the base of the rainbow, aligned with the color explosion that goes off up in the air. In the end, I think we were solidly in the middle of the pack, so you didn't get featured unless you don't get heavily highlighted unless you're top bottom. But that was a nice little build. I like that one. That was fun.
But you explaining that with all that technicality, it makes so much more sense, being that you unfortunately didn't get all that airtime, but I still love hearing the story behind it because that's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that the locks of dams are usually a red rusted color. And so that's why the dam had the red barriers up front.
Yes.
Is because the locks of the dam are usually that red protective paint color. And then the rest of it is very drab and gray because it was supposed to be a lot of muted color and to highlight the color of the rainbow blowing up. And then we had the closest call of having a fig knocked over of any of the teams.
Got it.
So if you go look really closely, a piece comes flying by and it knocks the sword out of the figure's hand.
Oh, yikes. Yikes, that is really close. Well, didn't the watermelon monster figure fall off for whatever? I forget which team
no, that was
was.
Mark and Steven, but if you look closely, nothing hit their figure. They also had water. And
So,
when their
quick thing.
watermelon went up, what happened is, the water is really dense, right? So here's my theory. Here's what I thought happened. I explained it to them this way: is water's a really dense substance. So when the explosion goes off, if you have glitter or chalk, that stuff is powder. The explosion is just going to blow that stuff up.
Yeah.
It's just going to immediately go up. Water has a lot of resistance. So a shock wave through water, there's this counter shock wave that goes down. And if you look closely, they put their explosives right on the surface of that triangle. And so when it exploded, the water resistance sent a shock wave through the plate, and it actually popped. That shock wave that was rippling popped their figure off, because I think the board did that. And popped, so their figure popped before there was anything coming toward it. It just, the shockwave, I think of the fact that it was, either it was the syrupy gel goo or the water had it has more substance, it has more mass, so it's going to drive that shockwave into the board. And for them, I think that's what happened.
That makes a lot of sense. Brad, you want to clarify something?
So I didn't get a chance to watch this episode. I want me to hear this. Honestly, I'm excited to go into the episode knowing this.
Spoiler warning.
I don't care. I've had the show spoiled already for me.
So to clue you in, the challenge was that they have this minifigure that they pick out of a hat, and they have to put a money shot of an explosion happening behind that character, and they create the story about it.
It's supposed to be the epic cinematography hero moment of the big.
I mean, I'm looking on the picture on your Instagram, and it looks absolutely. I was trying to make sure that was the challenge. But
the trick was you couldn't have your minifigure pop off.
You guys have to realize that it's a forced perspective build too. So anything you build in the foreground, it's going to be much, much larger than the wide angle stuff in the background. So a lot of people, Paris and myself, were putting their eye down right on that figure and looking at the crescent to try to shape everything and make sure you weren't building something that would hide a detail behind it. And it's a lot of composition for that one angle. So yeah, some of the builds look a little strange when you get that pan over and they're flying around because they're not designed. They're designed for that one course perspective.
And talk about building on a triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on a triangle. They cut the base plates down and laminated them really well. But that one, they told us roughly the height that you could expect that the cutoff for the camera would be. So, you know, you just tack a bunch of bricks up and then you build to that height, and the loft of the rainbow and everything was supposed to be, you know, at that right scale.
Insane.
Yeah.
So it was fun. The next one was the shake challenge.
I laughed so much at you not at you, but like with you, because I couldn't imagine even trying to do what you did, and it worked out well.
Well, sort of. So Paris and I have divergent opinions on this one. So once again, we split the responsibility. My job was to make the structural core of the building very strong, because I told them I've got this interlocking method that is freaking like would probably take it to 11. So I it's funny, Tyler Kleitz asked me about it. I sent him a photo of it, and he's like, that's pretty clever. So when Tyler says something's pretty clever, you know you're on the right track. But yes, I was basically using Technic like rebar to reinforce bricks into compression. And by making those columns up, what they don't tell you is that like the base. So the tower challenge had a couple extra parameters on it. You had to build to a certain width. I think it was 32, and then it had to go up halfway, and then you could reduce to 26 or 24. I forget what it was, probably 26. I don't know. But anyway, you had these minimum dimensions you had to meet as far as the width and of the object up to the 4 foot, 2 foot level, and then another 2 feet at a certain dimension. And then you had to enclose all the sides. You couldn't have any unintentional, you couldn't have openings. So I was doing the structure. The base that we were given had this kind of strange glued pattern to it, but there was Technic in it. And I was like, they wouldn't put Technic in that unless that's a cue that you better start pinning the stuff in pretty hardcore. So yeah, I did this thing where I pinned in these gigantic Technic compression columns and then had different floors coming off of that. And then basically ran out of time and got ridiculously desperate. And Paris saved the day in the last 30 minutes by grabbing base plates and just tacking them on there.
Yeah.
It was, oh God. And by the way, when we split our table in, I think it was something like 5 minutes. I told Paris, I'm going to start rolling the table. He's like, I'm still building. I said, you can build while I roll the table. I was not going around.
That's crazy.
And thank God we did, because we kissed the other table, I think, with 2 seconds left. We were the last.
I was watching you on the clock. When I watched the show, I was watching you on the clock. I'm like, did he make it? Like, that's real. The timing is real, correct?
Yeah, it was 2 or 1.5 seconds. I forget.
Wow.
But as they were saying the letter 1, our table finally kissed and connected. It was that close.
Oh my gosh.
So what's that stress like? How do you manage that?
Oh, it was, dude. So there's a good story there. First of all, the base plates and tacking them on, the top base plate, what do you think was holding the top base plate to the top of the structure?
Nothing.
I have no idea.
It was 2 2x2 plates tacked at the corners. On the top corners, that was it. Not the sides, not the bottom.
I love that.
It was that rushed. So we roll it in there, and I know the core is solid. I'm like, I told Paris, it's like, this is going to get really sketchy, because either we're going to be completely safe and possibly in the top, or we're going to be completely out. There's no in between. Because it depends on how much latitude is given for having breakaway panels come off your building intentionally.
Yeah.
So if if the judging allows the core to be the standing structure, then we're solid. But if, because it's all just going to come flying off at 2 or 3, right? All stuff's just going to delaminate and come apart, and you're going to be left with this jiggly structure. It's going to be awesome. So we really, really had a close call with that one. Paris loves this challenge. He loved that we were in the top 3. He thought it was highly successful. I'm more of an aesthetic kind of guy. So when we were walking back after rolling that in, we did this. We did like this in embarrassment walking past Amy and Jamie. I couldn't even look at Amy. I was unable to even, like, I was trying to like slink away. And we get to the middle of the floor walking away. And Jamie, I took one look back, and Jamie's standing there, and he noticed that we finally looked back, and he goes, "Base plates, really, guys?" Like, screamed at us. We're just like, oh God, I know. So we had this huge walk of shame before going back on the risers for them to look stuff over. But that thing was ugly as sin. And you will not find it on my Instagram. You will not find the picture of that on my Instagram page.
I noticed that. And I noticed that in the show, they kind of hit it in those shots of all the towers together. But you can still see the honeycomb.
We were last. It was in the back corner, thank God. It was obscured. But it was the ugliest looking, like, tacked up, ran out of time build.
But I had to laugh because it worked so well.
Yeah, like I said, the structure that I used was really sound. The core of it, I think we'll put it on 11 for the longest amount of time to get ours to fail. And what popped off was a pin in one corner for some reason. And man, if I had the time to do just 1 or 2 extra pins, we probably would have beat the machine. Wow. But shoulda, woulda, coulda, right?
Yeah.
So that one was really bad. It was kind of like, I'm extremely proud of the structure I made, and that it like was the most survivable of all of them. But also it was just the most ugly, disgusting thing I've ever put into. That was that. So that one was a mixed bag.
That's insane.
Yeah,
that is
for
insane.
Sure.
And the last one, Hat's Incredible.
Yes.
That one is my favorite build of all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hands down, that hat was my favorite. Once again, a split in responsibility. Paris had the brim and the top of the head down, like the crown head down brim. I had the part going up. So there was a dimension requirement. It had to be 100 studs in length in any direction. And it had to be, I can't remember, 2 feet or something tall. There was a height requirement. Which is why in the beginning of the episode, you see us stacking bricks on top of the hats to make sure we hit the right height requirement.
That's what that was. I wondered when I was watching, why do they do that? But that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. And the challenge is that much more difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's extremely difficult. It's a wearable. So I had the responsibility of building, once we came up with the diet, it took like 30 minutes for us to come up with a good story. So the idea was a jungle safari adventurer. I was thinking like Pitfall Harry or Crocodile Dundee or something like that, right? And the idea was we were going to have an urban jungle hat. So we had a serpent winding around this tree branch, and then we called him Seymour because he sees more because he's so high. So Seymour the snake.
I love that.
I did the head of the snake as well as the body, the branches. We used the same pillar structure technique as in the shake challenge, and then wrapped it around and came down. Paris was using mixel joint strategies, and he couldn't get the hat brim part to work, so I had to take that piece over, and then I had to build, reverse pack, and make the hat while I could only build one-handed because I was holding the Technic stick and snake with one hand, and then jamming the brick in, opposite down. And then I had to take off most of what Paris had built, except for one part. I wanted to keep in there as a little ball joint component. And then we had to merge the two together, and I had to work out a plate structure system for the end for Paris to snap down. So working with mixel joints was not great. It looked awesome, but it was very difficult to get together.
Yeah.
And just like Amy and Jamie theorized, it was the one piece I left together wound up causing the split across it because Technic's an odd number system, and in systems even numbered. And not enough reinforcement, and it was a weak point right around the temple. And once it splits, you can't repair it because you always have to press brick together from the opposite side. So Paris was trying to press down and fix it, but it's just making it worse because there was a hollow cavity. It just kept shattering it even more. But in the end, it was just like I told him, just get that thing on your head and make it to the runway and just let it drop. Just hold it together to get to the end of the runway and, just own it. Because at that moment when it broke, I knew it was over. There's no way we're going to make it. And that was that.
Well, it's great that was your last build, but that's your favorite too. Like, I think that speaks to the moment.
Oh, God. That thing was sexy, dude. When they had this, we brought it into the gallery to do the hero shot. That hat was probably going to be in the top 3. It was gorgeous.
The glasses. I love the glasses.
You had real fabric on it, real mixel fabric. It actually had a slope to it. The stake head was sculpted really, really well. Even Mark. So I look up to Mark and Steven. I was just spaced. The Ericksons.
That sounds right.
I mean, I look up to them, and even one of them said, well, I was making a serpent recently and trying to do a snake, and your head was actually, I think, better. And you knocked that thing out in like, what are they saying, 30 minutes or an hour?
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I had little red capes on it, so the hood would actually flap in the wind.
I noticed that. I love the capes. Like,
it was. I really, really, really like that build. It's just it totally disintegrated. It was a gigantic, total disintegration. So that was like a DOA, because when the objective is to walk down a runway and you can't even get your model hold together to get on the head, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And besides, Richard and Dave, those guys had been toward the top and constantly rising for a while. So I had a feeling their hat was just, in person, if you saw their hat, it was gorgeous. They just didn't have a good center of gravity on it.
Yeah.
Just like ours. Ours had a very high center of gravity.
Yeah.
But
that's
ours
the feathery one that you're talking about.
Yeah, I had made it in such a way that really clutched on Paris's head really tightly. It almost hurt him too much, so that it wouldn't start to wobble, so he could do the 15-second let go of it. But the minute it crumbled, of course, you lose everything that's going to keep it on your head. There's no way to balance it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm like looking at this build right now, and I'm just like, it's insane. Like, it's a really just a well-made build. Like,
if you guys haven't seen Lego Masters out there,
well-made. It was
go check it out.
Aesthetically amazing.
Oh yeah, it's very I'm just saying, it's aesthetically pleasing. Like,
aesthetically pleasing, also known as fly.
That's the fashion term. If you want to see that build, go check out Moto on Instagram. He has great photos of it. Link in the description. Please go check it out. Do you guys have anything else you want to say, or do you want to go to Maki time? Or Moto, is there anything else that you want to say about the show as a whole that you feel like the audience should know? I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot, but
no, I mean, there's certain things. So my not favorite. So what was the worst part of the show? The worst part of the show was Clockosaurus, aka Clockzilla. Building was incredibly stressful for me, but I remained focused, and hopefully my work was good. The best part of the show was getting a family. The best moments of the show were immediately once you finish building, you get to see all these models in real life. I don't have words to describe what it's like to see the models in person. I will say this: every single judgment that's been passed down on the show, I completely agree with Jamie and Amy.
Sure.
I think you can have different opinions, but I think if you take the time and space to truly analyze these models for 30 you you get a lot more information and detail than you would just from a quick camera pan or zoom.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the tops, the bottoms, you know, I have yet to question the judges. At least when I was there, they made every judgment was completely fair and reasoned, and I thought, you know, accurate to what they had to do. I think I understood what they were seeing and what they wanted. Oh, they're just great moments. I wish I could have stayed longer because my favorite challenge is the hanging brick. So that's why I'm doing a hanging brick build right now.
Mm-hmm. Like that one looks really fun. It's different. I kind of want to try one.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult. I knew that I wanted to do a mobile. I was surprised that no one did a mobile. So I was going to make a gigantic black Technic arm and then have two different models of different weights and proportions and hang those and have it balance.
Wow.
And if I could, have another T coming down and so on and so forth. So it's truly like a baby's mobile where you want it to be moving and rotating around.
That would be cool.
That would have been really cool.
Right? That's just the way you want it. I was thinking maybe you could have a cow and then a moon crescent. So it could be the cow jumping over the moon. Something like a lullaby, I think would be really clever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My idea at
like,
first was a tornado. Like a big giant tornado. You can have like different stories, like a big house that's getting picked up by the tornado.
Wow.
That's just what I don't know why.
No, it'd be great. It'd be great. But no, the engineer in me thinks, the art history part of me thinks that, you know, a mobile was a type of art that was invented for modernism. And then it balances very easily because you can always move a Technic pin very easily inwards or outwards to make it balance at the end. And then Technic is very strong. So like if you had a big crescent moon and then a dense cow, and then you could add maybe the the cat and the fiddle could be on it, or you can make little stars. But when you push a mobile, that's the whole thing, is it intentionally starts spinning and rotating. And you could say it's like a bedtime story or something cool like that.
Mm-hmm.
And besides, I like building space, so why not have a chance to throw something space in there?
Yeah,
Sure.
Like a spaceship could have made an appearance as one of the pieces of work, right? But yeah, that's fun. Not much else about the show that I haven't talked about before, other than every day when I got up, I knew that there were thousands of people who had applied and would have traded places with me for any instant. So I went in every day with that responsibility of building to my best, as if anybody else had traded places, and trying to represent the AFL community as best I could, because the show is larger than me. You know, it's something that a lot of people applied for and only a few got. So just know that when I was getting up, and no matter how wrecked my body was, I was going to give it my all, because I knew that anybody like you would have traded in a moment.
Yeah, get coffee. Just drink tons of coffee.
Well, you know what?
Yeah. The discussion was like, how bad was it? And because I'm a parent, it was funny when I was going through in the morning with some crew. One guy would always ask me, like, how bad is it? And I was like, oh, you know, it's not that bad. It's maybe a toddler at 18 months of sleep. And then it gradually degraded. I was like, I'm getting into 6-month territory, 3-month territory. I was like newborn. Toward the end, I'm like, this is newborn. This is bad.
Wow, that's crazy.
One more quick question for everyone that's watching here. Sure. What is your advice if they want to apply for Lego Masters?
Well, first of all, you should apply. Otherwise, you won't get on the show. And so you need to apply.
But, you know, train, get, you know, the experience.
Yeah, there's a combination of things I would look for. Number one, when you build, make sure you're building MOCs. Sets are not going to cut it. It is a MOC building show. I think have a portfolio that's diverse and interesting. So
not just Star Wars.
Well, I mean, Star Wars is okay and it's good, but you have to imagine that someone who's vetting the program, can you imagine how many city builds and how many Star Wars builds they must go through?
No.
You gotta be different, stand out.
Slightly different. I mean, you can do Star Wars, but you have to be operating on a level that is so clearly beyond every other Star Wars builder that you got to have Rich Boy J status or something like that.
Yes, and he's going to be at Brick Rodeo.
Yeah, he will. But I mean, you got to kind of be at that level if you're going to do a theme. There's nothing wrong with Star Wars, Harry Potter, or cities. But if you go to any convention or trains, so if you go to any convention, though, what do you see a ton of? You see an epic megaton of cities, trains, Star Wars, Harry Potter, a couple other things. But I think I'm such an unusual builder. I know that's what got me on the show. It's just because my stuff is so far out there and pushing techniques to different limits. That's what got me on. But everybody has their different way. It's okay to make cities and architecture and stuff, but definitely try to make it a little diverse and definitely have that finish and polish that's unique to yourself, and have it be a mock. Don't build just modulars or something. You need to use a modular to learn, but you need to push it further. That's just one aspect, is the technical aspect. You have to be very good at basic brick sculpting as a fundamental. Because that's what you get in the pit, is a bunch of basic bricks. Don't rely on a bunch of crazy different pieces all the time, because you're not going to get them. And the second part is make sure you truly find a great partner and you have a great story and background together.
Yeah,
Okay?
and I think that's very important.
I'll just say the blatantly obvious stuff. Don't have a criminal background. Don't have a felony.
I once put my brother, we have a bunk bed, and there's a little ladder that my brother has to go up, and I every now and then I put a Lego piece on the ladder.
No, I mean, there's silly stuff like that, but no, seriously, unless it's a part of your story, like a redemption arc, if you've been to prison or something, that could be a redemption. Maybe you're redeemed through Lego. That could be your story. But seriously, if you have a criminal background or any background in any industry that's not family friendly, you're probably not going to make it on the show, because the general audience will do their research on the contestants, and if they find something truly icky, that's not good. That's going to make news, and it's not going to look good for anybody.
No.
So there are background checks that are run against each contestant. So that is another aspect. And then once you have your story and your team and you kind of know your angle, and you build well together, you have to have really, really good screen chemistry. So for whatever reason, they liked my chemistry and they liked my reactions, and they wind up getting someone who truly is an AFOL's AFOL. I'm bouncing up and down on those stands like crazy whenever someone gets called up and they win, and I'm extremely happy for them. I'm, ecstatic to celebrate everything that happens as it happens, and I'm also extremely sad when someone has to leave. But they do want that larger than life personality.
And then the relationship between the two.
Well, it's just a number. I'm trying to say there's a number of factors, but the big ones are there. You have to know how to build. You have to have a good, storytelling aspect to your background that's going to connect an audience to you, and then your wardrobe is going to have to enhance that and be different and distinct. But then you have
I can't wear the same thing every day.
Well, wardrobe's a whole thing I could go into, but I won't. But
that's a different show.
Well, no, I mean, those shirts and that look was curated over the course of 6 months for me. I spent a lot of time coming up with basically a male version of Ragsy, a designer, creative designer in a suit. It wound up being a lab coat, but that's cool. But that last part is you can't just sit there and expect to be building silently and do nothing. You're going to be improvising against Will Arnett, right? Or you're going to be reacting to different things as they happen, and it's unscripted television. They want big personalities and they want people who stand out, and I think that casting looks for that stuff. If you go into a video interview and you're just like, yes. I like to build stuff.
I was like that 8 months ago.
He was. He really was.
Ninjago City right here. And I have the hanging gardens attached to it. And the story is that this bird is going to come down and
Uh,
attack the person in the bush.
make it stop.
And attack the person in the bush.
Make it stop. Make it stop.
No, I mean, I'm intentionally making it really bad.
Yes.
But you understand you have to have it. Lego is a toy and it's supposed to be fun, and so you have to have a great sense of humor and not take it too seriously.
That's perfect for me.
And right, you have to laugh at when things go badly. I mean, in the end of the day, it's a nationally televised TV show, but it's a TV show. You know, it's not your entire life. It's not your whole identity. You go in as a good builder, you come out as a great builder, and then lastly, I'd say, think about the long game. So if I was to, I don't hear this from anybody, but I have a suspicion that if someone's going to be on Lego Masters, you need to think about the fact that you're going to be an ambassador for Lego. I mean, people are going to look up to you. They're going to see you on television, and small kids are going to want your autograph and to talk to you. And are you an ambassador of the Lego brand? Do you play well?
Yeah.
Do you exemplify that kind and uplifting and bright spirit in your entire life? And is it going to be a beacon for other people that you want in your Lego community? Or are you going to be the person who's sarcastic and has nothing but complaints about the latest set release because there's only too many figs that you hate? Are you just going to be that person who's going to complain and bitch and moan about every little release and what's wrong with it and stir up a bunch of freaking drama that's short-term hype? Or are you in it for the long run to truly be a hopeful beacon of playing well and being a brand ambassador?
Yeah.
I would think that through very thoroughly, because this reality show is not built on interpersonal conflict. It's built on top of that play well brand from Lego. And what was crazy, or I noticed this, I can't say it for sure, but what was really nuts is if you guys are watching the YouTube or Facebook clips that they're putting out in addition to the show itself, when I left the show, right, I hopefully went out in a very positive and uplifting way.
Mm-hmm.
But I never say goodbye. I always say play well. So I said play well. First of all, they didn't do the whole thing, but I said thank you, Jamie, thank you, Amy. I did a bad joke where I didn't thank Will because he and I had this like competitive eye staring contest going on the whole time. But no, I mean, I do believe in Will, and I know that he understands that he and I actually got along very well, and I appreciate him. He's an amazing guy. Oh. But then, I turned around. I was like, play well, everybody. Play well, keep fighting. Beat that clock and go get it and fight on and persist. And then I talked about failure, and it's part of the Lego experience. But in the end, I think because I integrated play well into my farewell message, they put a YouTube video together that was a Lego lingo video with Jamie and Amy talking about how Lego actually means play well in Danish. That's the root of the brand. So they managed to get that writer in, but I think I forced it simply because I used it.
I love that. That's awesome.
There was a little out of sequence and timing, which is really unusual, but that was a good thing, and hopefully it was a good way to get people inspired, even though it was a catastrophic failure. And by the way, I had to appreciate the brilliant irony of going out by pulling a Moto. I mean, that was like that's total Moto on brand. Is to have something completely disintegrate is a way to leave.
Yeah. Well, so honestly, I will say you were so how do I say this? You look so excited in every single shot that you were in. You looked so happy to be there. You were sprinting like Flash across the scene.
Unless I was building, there were a couple exchanges with parts that were pretty, back and forth. But
sure.
But no, once the building's done, I was extremely happy and had a great time.
I think the way you went out honestly was perfect. And I'm glad that you were so proud of the build that you were able to accomplish, because if you weren't, that wouldn't be it would feel a lot more hollow, I would say. Yeah. But with
there's
all
a
that
difference between going out of just, there's a difference between going out and be like, that was the worst build I've ever done, and I definitely deserve it. And then there was like, hey, that was an amazing build.
Would have been embarrassing. That would have been like, that was bad. Like, that was a horrible way to go.
Yeah. But
this one was the full on. This was the full on Klingon. Like today's the day we're gonna die. Straight into that.
I love that.
Yeah, full on Jack Sparrow into the Kraken, like dive bomb in.
I love that so much.
I was like, Leroy Brickens.
Oh wow. Well, on that note, I think everybody got a lot of information out of that. I know I did.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
My job is to keep the show moving because I'm playing host tonight. So Ethan, no, you're doing great. No, this is what we want. We wanted to hear as much as you had to say.
Is the next part like we show what we're mocking or building? Is that the next part?
So what we call it is mocky time, and Ethan shows some of your mocks, and we talk about them.
And he's got it all prepared, and you're going to be able to give your feedback as well, or show anything new that you're working on.
I got stuff that's in progress. I got stuff behind me. Yeah, but if it's a slideshow, that's great. I've done that too.
You can present as much as you need to as well.
No, let's do a speed round. Let's do a speed round.
All right, I want to hit it.
We don't want to go too late.
A lot of stuff.
We want to also be respectful of your time too. So without further ado,
I'm highly. You guys have got me on like level 10 of hype. So
I'm glad that we can do it.
I'm good for the rest of the evening.
But mocky time, we're just gonna show all of your mocks. Like, just I went on your Flickr and I looked at we're gonna look at your older, like the cat one. What's the cat one's name? Meowster.
No. So my son has come up with an imaginary figure that's with his life, and he calls it Sir Meows a lot, so I stole that name.
I love that.
I love it.
Well, without any further ado, it's time for
Ethan, stop hitting it.
It's not working.
We kept hitting it at the exact same time.
Did we do this last week too?
All right. There is our high
I'm stealing all of your production value.
You should see some of the later ones.
If we could get it together, that would be great. But
we need to have this one
okay.
intro.
No, you have to understand. I have to lightly roast you on that. Just because if I do,
you're more than welcome to. We know.
We deserve it.
We're self-aware. We're self-aware enough. All right, Ethan, take it away.
I'm just.
No. We don't take it as that.
We don't at all.
Let's show that.
Okay.
I also have an album on Flickr called Lego Builds Over Time that highlight all the stuff I've built. But let's go.
Okay.
You had a ton of stuff on Flickr. I just went on. Just got the ones that I thought were cool, ones that just stuck out. But there are a lot of amazing builds on your Flickr. Like there's some awesome stuff. And we got this Mad Max. Wait, what is this one? Talk about this one.
Well, this is so. I'm gonna choose my language very carefully due to intellectual property. This is a build inspired by Mad Max, and it is the V8 Interceptor. The way you see it here, it's halfway between the first and the second film. So the bumper is still on, and the police insignia is still on the side. However, it does have the dog and the gas tanks and everything from the second Mad Max film on it.
Man, that's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It just looks so smooth. I love that it's how smooth it is. It's just really cool. And then the hint of gold it's really cool.
It's
and
beautiful.
the fun story about this is I put 3 of these together. So I made instructions, and then I gave a gift of actual boxed Lego sets. The box is up there right above me.
Wow.
And it's a custom jacketed printed photograph experience, and I won't go into it, but Mel Brown and Flynn DeMarco and Tricky Bricks on YouTube both did an unboxing and build video experience because I gave it to them as a gift to build. But there's only 3 of these printed boxes in existence that I handcrafted.
That's awesome.
That is so cool.
So once again, my challenge was I had never made a Lego set, like a physical Lego box, and I tried to use sneakerhead lore. So the box opens up and it reveals the Moto logo on the sides and everything, and I had done an origami wrapping pattern and everything for it. So yeah, it was, and I completely pre-milled all the individual pieces into separate bags for them when I sent it out.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And not gonna lie, I love your logo.
So that's a fun build.
That your logo, it just looks really cool.
Thank you. Kevin and myself both teamed up on that one. The wolf.
But
There you
we've
go,
already
Spirit
talked
Wolf.
about
Yep.
this one. But this one is just incredible. Like this one's awesome, and the photo. Like
Well-
I love how it has. It's not just a white background. It's like a darker background to make it, the mock just pop and you're able to see it. Because
And what is it sitting on? That Sony player?
So it's a Sony record player with a custom white thing to lift it off so it could spin.
That's
Okay.
I like how you guys.
That's cool.
So that's
It's
your
a
turntable.
turntable.
That turntable is your
Yeah,
turntable.
it's an actual
Yeah.
it's a literal turntable.
Man,
That one is probably the most highly seen build. All the Lego Master contestants knew me from that build because Lego shared that on their social media.
Yeah, that's how I found you. Like I was like, I know that build.
Yeah,
And then
I know that wolf.
this next mock is a little different. Talk about this one.
Oh yes. So this is I call this the Vicky Viper, VYPRE. So every November there is a Vic Viper challenge. You have to build a Vic Viper spaceship. And so it's
Ooh.
November spelled with 2 V's. And a Vic Viper basically has a split front. It has a single engine in the back and has a huge, gigantic single tail coming off the engine, and then it's got 2 big wings. This was
That's
my
awesome.
take on the Vic Viper model, but I called it Victorious Viper or Vicky Viper, and that's the name of her. I did a friend's build, highly colored, some really nice translucent speckled metallic pink elements in there. This is very much my style. Of all the other builds, this is where we're getting to my bread and butter, which is doing insanely weird, bright colored spaceships with
And I
like
love that.
crazy
That's so
NPU.
cool. It puts your personality
and
into
Boone
the build.
Langston Boone Langston highlighted this one as having like crazy NPU.
That's so cool.
But
Yeah,
that's
this one's awesome.
this
And
is-
then the back engine was inspired by something small art director put together called the Awesome Blossom.
That's awesome.
So I managed
Is it
to steal
swooshable?
my own son's building techniques. So yeah, Rob,
is it
where you can.
swooshable? Ooh. And this one's really
of course, yeah,
cool.
very swooshable.
Well, look at this
Oh
one
yeah,
with
so
the
this
cat.
is interesting. It's a cat within a cat. So this is the Meow Method. If you look closely, there's a little. I've got it behind me. There's a little teeny friend's cat called Jinx inside the front belly with a little couch. This one I built in a half day.
Oh,
So
that's
it
pretty
took
good.
maybe 4 to 4.5 hours. So this one's not really elegant. It's just the face is super cute, and I
Just the idea is really cool.
Yeah, I was getting ready for Lego Masters. I mean, at this point, I was pretty deep in the casting, and so I was like, "What can I put together in 4 hours?" So I just blasted this one on 4 to 5 hours.
Wow.
That's awesome.
I love the whiskers piece
So
you
for the
chose
time,
for that.
it's really nice. I think the shaping's kind of chunky and off, but
Mhm.
it's cute.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And then another Mad Max one right here. This one's really nice. And
Inspired by.
Yeah, inspired. It's
No,
Fab
so
Max.
I actually coined this phrase. So I made this one first, and then the Mad Max V8 is just a recoloring of this build. But the idea,
Oh.
the idea was that if you take a Fabuland head and rip it off, you can put it on a Technic figure body. So what I did is I put the Technic head on the Fabuland body, and that was the dog, but it was really a guy's head on a dog's body.
Wow.
And then Mad Max here is a dog's head with a police officer hat on a Technic figure body. And then
that
I used the
I love that.
I used the Fabuland colors, which is yellow and red. It looks very much like a McDonald's kind of terror card.
True.
But yeah, it's very much, as you can see, it's very much a Fabuland remix of the Mad Max Interceptor, and we called it Fab Max Furry Road.
I
And you
love
can
that.
see the logo there was a cooperative effort between myself and Boone Langston to put that together. But that was a fun theme for a virtual conference, and I think we took home a prize for that.
Oh, that's
Wow.
awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Talk about like the photo that like where did you take that photo?
Yeah, so I'm a photographer. I'm also a designer. So if you look at the ground close to where the vehicle's lying, that is just kind of the messed up broken concrete in my backyard under the intense lighting of the Colorado sun. You know, backlit, that's all true lighting. And then I'm blending it into a recolored version of like a desert scene out in New Mexico or far western Colorado.
Okay.
So it's a photo blend. The model is not sitting accurately in the environment. It's just very clever Photoshop transitions to make it look like it's sitting in a real environment.
That's
awesome.
And that's something that mostly anybody can do. I mean, given the software that you have, and I think it speaks to like the creative potential of anything that you can do with photos or with Lego as well.
Masking that thing sucked so hard. But I did a good job.
It looks like, well, I'm a graphic design major, so I understand what it takes to actually do that sort of thing, and I think you did an excellent job. I must
Yeah,
say.
and I color shifted the colors to match Furry Road, or Fury Road for Furry Road.
Love it.
And then we got this last one. This one, I love this one, how it's wearable, and I just like this one.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
That is. So I was wearing Sir Meows a lot Saturday. Yeah, yesterday. Oh my God, it feels like just put my body through a lot of heat. So Sir Meows a lot is currently being repaired. One of the knuckles on the internal structure broke.
Oh boy.
Which isn't bad. I can still wear it. I mean, it just popped it here and there. That happens.
You
but
pulled a
luckily
Moto.
It's so strong that you wouldn't even notice. But I do like Sir Meows a lot. So Sir Meows a lot was a response to people who wanted me to wear the wolf. And,
okay.
I like to cosplay, and the idea was, okay, for this Halloween, I'm going to make a wearable. So Blair Archer, a good friend of mine, had made a Blacktron wearable alien suit that was incredible. I knew how to do the Mixel techniques, but I couldn't wear the wolf.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do some character version of a Lego wearable. And if you put it up there, I asked my son, what should I make? And I knew exactly what he was going to say. So my son is really into cats. He has something like 180 cat stuffies. A lot. He buys cat sculptures. He buys cat artwork. He buys cat magnets. We don't own a cat. We have a dog. But look, I asked him what was his favorite set for his birthday, and apart from what I'm going to show you, this was it. It was a little kitty cat. So of course, it's not the $200, $300 set that sells them. It's this little friend's box of all things.
Yeah.
He is a cat fanatic. He's got serious cat attitude. So of course he said cat, and I went full on into building a wearable cat, and then like I stole the name from him. He has this imaginary 5-headed. So it's Tiamat, the 5-headed dragon, but instead of dragon's heads, it has cat heads, and he calls it Sir Meows a lot. Oh, yeah. And it can also grow to be the size of Godzilla. So go figure that out.
It sounds like Hagrid from like Harry Potter with like Fluffy. Like
It does.
You're beginning to get an insight into small art director's world. Yes, a world filled with imagination. But no, I stole the name. I call it Sir Meows a lot because it's such an adorable name. And of course, you guys have Matt. You've seen me dance with it.
Which I'm very thankful for. That was awesome. I appreciate that.
That was amazing.
My mom just gave me brownie.
Well, I don't want to hear you chewing, so turn your microphone off first.
This is an ASMR time.
Yeah.
But that is awesome.
I have to say, I'm surprised. You are the only guys who have not featured the egg. Usually that one comes up too on high rotation.
The egg.
The egg?
Yes, there is.
I saw that one.
There's a 4.5 foot tall Technic translucent egg. and it's a spaceship.
Well, that is the
It's really cool.
teaser. That is the
That
teaser
is-
for everyone
that's
to
the
go and check
teaser.
you out.
That's why I didn't do it.
So
It's
if you
really
go- yeah,
it's big.
Yeah, so if you go to moto.lego on Instagram and you scroll down, if you're on Flickr, if you go to my TikTok, which is Moto Lego as well, you will see me doing a one-arm deadlift swoosh of a 4.5 foot tall translucent Technic egg spaceship.
It is swooshable.
Oh yeah,
I love
yeah.
that.
No, I don't wear the shirt for nothing for you guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that highlight. Yeah, that's a trip down memory lane. That was crazy.
For sure.
Oh my gosh.
You saw the egg? Okay, there we go.
Yep.
That's the reaction
Yeah,
that everybody's gonna have. Well,
That is-
Ethan.
Brad just kind of had the reaction that I like to have, which is people kind of, especially if you watch the video. So I tell people it's swooshable. So, I've done this on live streams before, but one guy I look up to is Boone. Boone Langston's, of course, an amazing builder. I'm on his live stream. And I'm like, oh yeah, swooshes. I pick it up and he starts losing his. No. I did it in front of Justin Ramsden. This is a senior Lego designer itself. I picked it up and swooshed it for Justin Ramsden, and he kind of I broke his head, which is that is a memory I will share forever. Is being able to take a senior Lego designer and kind of impress them to the point where they just overflowed. But no, more recently, instead of doing a 2-arm swoosh, I've done a single arm swoosh, which is even more crazy.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, do the full on swing it around.
Well, Ethan and Brad, you have already mentioned what you picked up this week, unless you guys have anything else that you would like to share. But I wanted to ask Moto as well. We don't have a segment for a title card for this segment, but
Yeah.
can you talk about you mentioned your son, and you said before the show about all the Lego that's in front of your door right now. You want to go over that really quick?
So Small Art Director had his birthday this week, okay? And he likes Legos, so I told every relative, don't buy him a gift, send money. So Small Art Director went to the Lego store with a small
fortune.
Now, some people bought Lego sets and they said, what should we buy him? I said Technic. Buy Technic. So some of these were gifts, but a lot of these are just he went in there with a wad of cash and just gutted the store. So we'll start off. Here's a nice little Technic set. It's a nice racer. That's a nice one too. That's a blue car.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Oh, but wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more. That one's really nice.
So yeah, that one's cool. That one's cool, but not nearly as cool as the McLaurin. So I really dig the McLaurin. I'm hoping he's going to let me put that one together, but I don't think he will because he's really into Technic.
He has more Lego in one day than I got in a year. Oh my gosh!
And I designed a concept Jeep, so I pressed on him. He should really get the Jeep. So he broke down and he got the Jeep. Good for me, good for him. But wait, there's more. So he really likes cats. So of course, the Monkey Kid has
a cat with a mohawk,
blue mohawk cat,
a meow hawk.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome, guys.
And that is the name of the cat. The cat's name is Mo.
Oh.
So you're going to see a theme. So Sandy's mech is one of the few sets that has Mo in it. Now, it's different because it's Mo with sunglasses. Now, wait. Now, the other set where Mo was first introduced was the Monkey Kid HQ set. And this was the last copy in the Lego store, and it was discounted because of damage.
Okay.
He got a deal.
He had to have Mo. So of course we had to get the Monkey Kid HQ set because Small Art Director liked Ninjago, but he's moved on. He's moved on to Monkey Kid.
Was this double
And of
VIP
course,
points?
The other set with Mo is the Flying HQ, which is the Quadcopter HQ.
We need to
had
rate.
to have all 3 Mo's. But wait, there's more. And then his absolute favorite is the Bone Demon from Monkey Kid, and the reason is it
Glow in the
is
dark.
it It is.
Pops out.
Yeah, it's a transformer. Every single piece is a different creature that then assembles into the Bone Demon.
Ooh.
That's a pretty
And
cool
on
set.
top of that, yeah, that's what makes it amazing. Is that it's like it's 6 different mechs that assemble into the Bone Demon, but also a lot of the pieces on this are glow in the dark elements.
That is
insane.
awesome.
That's super cool.
So it's a glow in the dark build, and we went to the Lego store day one on this set being released in order to get it, and we got, I think, the second to the last one because this is the one he insisted on getting. Everything else was, well, once he learned that Mo existed and there was a blue mohawk cat, that pretty much
I'll take your entire
pretty
stock.
much was the remainder of the yeah, that was the remainder of the purchases for that time.
Was
That
this
is
double
insane.
VIP points?
Got a lot of them. What was it?
Was this double VIP points?
I don't think it was the VIP weekend. It was the first day of release weekend.
Okay.
Got it.
But I guess it's good because that means all of his money went onto my VIP point card. He doesn't know what that means. But,
That's
That
fun.
is
so yeah, his
insane.
money
That's awesome.
contributed to my VIP points. He also got the little cute little friends thing. There's also a little bit of other stuff, that's Matchbox car related because he's into Matchbox cars.
Nice.
And other things that he likes to do with finger knitting and art stuff. But
That's so cool.
for the Lego side, that is like that. I wish I could have a haul like that. I mean, that's a haul that is beyond what I've ever done. I always get like a Monkey Kid set maybe once every 3 months, or I've had a lot of stuff show up in the mail recently that I could show you guys, but I won't because I've got like the grand piano recently, but that doesn't compete to that. I mean, Smaller
No.
Director's Hall is like
No.
epic.
That's Christmas times 5 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
I'm-
be sad. Just buy a Lego set. He's gonna be a happy kid.
Wow,
Nope.
crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a haul very similar to that when my 90 days hits at the Lego store, and I can find the 30 days hit, so I can get the new sets.
Nice.
Charge.
well, can I ask really quick, Moto? Can you give us a teaser for what you might be working on recently besides the lug sign? Is there anything that you've been up to
Oh
other
yeah,
than
yeah,
that?
absolutely. I don't.
You don't
it
have
with
to
me
show
'cause
us.
You're right. I'm working. I have this massive red balloon that's hollow, and it's popping, and that's on TikTok.
Nice.
I
And
did
I've
see
got
that. It
2
looks
videos
epic.
of that. Yeah, I was showing the popped, and then someone said, "Can it close up?" And of course, I'd done the math, so I'm just like, "Come on, boss! Of course I figured that out." But what's even cooler is what's going to hang from it.
Oh, so I
So
saw
I'm
you
putting-
working on that. I didn't know that was going to go together with it.
Yeah, so this pirate ship got gold and red highlights, and it's designed to be an air pirate ship. You can see the little propeller spins.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
But this is what I've been working on to suspend from that balloon. And this is entirely Mixel based again, so it's not too heavy. I think I'm guessing maybe it's 2.5 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Crap. Size, right?
Wow.
That's
so
really
I'm gonna
cool.
suspend the idea. So here's the story. I always start. We talked about the story and how important it is. So I was thinking about the elves line, and I was thinking that the elves is pretty much close to friends with Ninjago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's friends with elemental powers and magic. And so I'm thinking that this belt, because it's red and gold, if you remember the first season of Ninjago, I'm going to make Friends Jago.
I love that.
And-
That's awesome.
I'm glad I asked.
So what I'll do is I'll take like the green elf body, and I'll put one of the friends' heads on it. And then what I'll do is I'll put all of the ninja backpacks and armor and swords and junk on them. And I'll make Friends Jago. So I've got the green one here. I've got the blue one. I've got the red one. And then the bad guy will be the evil elf queen. But I'll buy 2 horses. I'll double stack them like Garmadon.
Oh my god!
So she'll be flying out with Garmadon's helmet with all 4 swords popping the balloon.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
And then I'll make a custom logo that says Friends Jago.
Oh.
That will be a fun story.
That is great. I'm so glad I asked you that question.
You can tell I like mashing. I like mashing themes together. For example, I did Belleville and Bionicle. So I put a Belleville figure inside of a Bionicle spaceship and called it Bellonicle. That one was pretty nuts. And then you guys saw the Fab Max with Fabulent and Mad Max smashed together.
That's awesome. I love that.
I love smashing themes together to make weird stories. But I think Friends Jago should be a thing because
I know.
Friends can go on action adventure too.
I love
it to Lego ideas.
I like the idea of having a completely amazing, mind-blowing mock that any AFOL is going to look at it from a distance. And they're going to go like, that is the most incredible adventure crazy build I've seen. And they're going to love it. And they might think it's Ninjago. And they're going to be like, oh my God, that's like the best Ninjago ever. And then they get up to it and they have to resolve their inner conflict for their hatred of minifigs in an incredible Ninjago build. So all those haters of mini dolls are going to have to reconcile the fact that one of the best Ninjago builds is hanging before them. And it's completely populated with mini dolls.
I love it.
And that hurts me so much.
I love it so much. I love it.
I like
true
I like messing with people, but in a fun way. I don't like, forcing an agenda, although my agenda is very clear in that mini dolls and friends do need a little bit more love from all the haters out there. And so if I'm going to have to co-opt Ninjago to get it done, then I'm going to do it.
I love it. Well, with that being said, don't strike a tear, but it is time for our...
I was going to say, do we want to do memes first? I'm fine with doing tier list.
Let's save memes for last.
By the way, on my mobile device, when you play the video, I can't see it, so I don't know what that was.
Oh.
Well, when you do rewatch this at any point, if you want to scroll through it, you will see our epic...
it's a minifigure with a tear coming down.
Yeah, it's a crying minifigure because it is our tier list, TIER, where we're rating a theme.
Yes. So how this kind of works?
This idea. I love this idea. All right.
I'll show you because we talked about this when we were talking Monday, and you were a little bit upset with us at certain stuff. Right, let me
I lightly or significantly severely disagreed with some of your choices. Yes.
There we go. So this is what we got so far, just to give you an idea. And I'll announce the theme. I know you kind of know what it is, but I'll announce the theme in a few seconds here. But yeah, so I do know that you had a problem with us putting Friends so low.
Oh boy.
And Chima, and I think there's a few other ones. We weren't exactly looking at the build techniques when we were ranking these themes. We were ranking them by the story and by many other things that these themes...
Displayability.
Yeah, displayability, mockability.
Is it meant for everybody?
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we got so far, just to give you kind of an idea. But guys, I picked a very cringy, you're talking about mini dolls. I picked something. This is a very cringy theme. And I was looking at these sets and I was just dying inside because of them. But guys, Lego Jackstone.
Yeah.
What do you have, Moto?
I've got a quart of Jackstone figs right here.
Oh my god.
No, calling them figs is generous. I have a quart of Jackstone figs
Mega dolls
right here.
Is this?
I,
Yeah, there
I
we go.
I don't know what to call them. They're Jack Stones.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'll quickly read some stuff out about this theme. So the Jack Stone's theme was introduced in 2001 alongside a similar basic-like theme creator. Jack Stone acted as the basic replacement for the Town Junior and City Center's juniorization by introduction of larger figures, and keeping some of the previous juniorized elements as well as adding some new ones. It could be counted as a missing theme between City Center and World City. There was also several toothbrushes, a video cassette that were based on the theme. It was initially a strong seller, but was replaced by the 4 Plus in 2003. Despite having this replaced, Jack Stone was still a character in the 4 Plus. And this theme looks like it went from 2001 to about 2003. But the sets were a strong civic action theme, with Jack Stone himself acting as various rescue roles such as policeman, fireman, coast guard, and workman and pilot. The theme was so kind of had a lot to it. So let's get into these very cringeworthy sets here, and let's try to not pull back our biases for a second, so we can look at this just amazing build.
Wow. That is beautiful.
Depressing.
Half of that set is a windshield.
Yeah.
And that bottom piece is the other half of that set.
Yeah. Yeah.
So well, no, there's 2 Technic pieces for the grills and stuff. So keep in mind that this was in the period where Lego was getting more and more into making a bunch of large custom molded pieces that were more easy to build and more centered on play.
Yeah.
This is basically the move that was starting to bankrupt them, where they were looking more for playability and less about, building. So large molded pieces, low part count.
Yeah.
There are some amazing elements in here that are coming off of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of this stuff is centered around like fire and police and safety and rescue. Pretty much it's city, just with like this crazy figure.
And you do have a big point here. There was a lot of if you look at these sets, the piece count was very low in them. So
yeah.
Well, look at the epic chunkiness of those windscreens and that like truck base or that grill in front.
We got the prison break here with a great prison to go along with it.
Yeah, that guy's getting arrested right there. I like how he's using a guardrail to like trap the person. Because nothing,
oh my gosh.
nothing stops civil unrest like hitting someone with a guardrail.
Jack Stone.
It's
a cool boat.
And it's still Octan. That's what's killing me. The Octan logo is still on that thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
by the way,
definitely...
those yellow pillars in back, those pillar pieces are incredible if you can find them. But once again, it's just this idea of like, let's build big. Normally you would have just stacked a bunch of 2x4s, and instead they give us this crazy molded thing.
Yeah.
Well, I will say those pieces, though, I mean, aside from using it in these sets, I think for mockability purposes, they could be used for a lot of really cool creations.
I definitely think taking the sets apart does really good mockability, but building mocks for this isn't very great.
This. No. But I'm saying the parts that came out of this, like Moto was saying, like these larger parts meant for more playability and less building. I think they could be used for a lot of creative stuff if you got your hands on them.
Yes.
Zoom like the windshield for spaceships.
Yeah, exactly. Great spaceship elements. The white columns are fantastic pieces if you can work them into a mock, because they're so unusual that they really stand out.
True. Very true. We got this lovely plane.
In fact, that's an element that when you put it in, some people think that you've slipped Mega Construct or something in a model, and you go, Jack Stone, and then they walk away. Look at that.
A part of me wishes that there was an airport to go with this. Like, it doesn't make sense.
There's
It's just the plane.
Sort of an airport.
If you go back, I believe Tom Cruise played the role of the man in the green. I think that was a film.
There's just so much to be desired from it. Like,
Oh, like just look at that
Oof,
printing on
that
there
is-
too.
Ooh, this one's pretty rough to look at.
is that
but-
printing?
But if you look at like
Yeah.
the aircraft engine's a great element. If you look at just the elements by themselves.
Yes.
Yes.
So I was wondering where my pirate ship propeller came from, and it's that propeller. Now I know it came from Jack Stone.
There we go. Wow.
And
And
so
look at
so
that radar dish on the top. I mean, that's a single element. It's just nuts.
no, that's
It
actually
looks like two. Those
Yeah,
little-
that's
Oh,
two.
that's right.
the separate is a shuttle, that top light gray, but it's
Yeah.
in light blue.
Look at the stickers or printing on that aircraft, and
Yeah.
you can't tell me that's like the height of like rad. That just says rad in big
Yeah.
neon colors.
I love it. Yeah.
And then this is the last one that I image I grabbed.
I think Tom Cruise
Dang.
meets Lego is the best way
Yeah.
to put this.
And I do feel like there was a bit. I don't know why, but I feel like I remember a TV show or something, or like a game, maybe.
I love how it's rescue on the bottom right.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
all our
my
rescue
goodness.
lines are rescue. Yeah, but
Rescue.
so another thing you need to keep in mind is a lot of this is targeted at the 4+, like the most basic red above Duplo kind of building instructions, very, very basic stuff.
Sure.
So line it up against the junior sets. That's where your mind needs to be when you're thinking about this.
I
Although I'd rather
still
have a junior
think-
set.
Yeah. And I think, well, I gotta say, like, compared to the 4+ sets we get today, yes, there's some bigger elements in it, but I feel like it's very easy to customize those or do more with those. And there's
Mhm.
big elements aren't exactly a hindrance. Where I feel like to these sets, these big elements are just such a hindrance to the actual set itself. So that, like, if you're like, hey, I mean, like, they're good, when you get to an adult level, like, hey, I bet I can find ways to work these into a build and make it interesting. But I do feel like there is a point where there's a very big hindrance that comes from, the Lego is supposed to be about creativity.
Mhm.
And yes, there's great
Well,
play
also,
features.
these sets are the exact opposite of what people think of Lego's core brand is, which is
Yeah.
focusing on the building, and then the play comes afterwards. But the experience of Lego that's unique to Lego is the building experience itself. And they were leaning into this idea that you only need 60 plus pieces to make a large scale set.
Yeah.
And it is simple. It's more of a juniors line, but still there's so many large custom molded pieces that it is sort of like the idea of let's just rush someone through the building experience as fast as possible so they can play with this cool action figure. And I don't know. I also get like faint whiffs of Playmobil from it. I don't know
Mhm.
why,
I do too.
I can
but
agree
I
with
just
that.
do.
And I do think that, like,
Yeah.
you look at, what was I gonna say? Like, this plane, there isn't even a lot of detail in that, and that's
Yeah.
what kind of hurts me. It's like, yeah, here's the skeleton of a place. You can swoosh it around. Something like there's 4+ planes you can get now, but you know what they are. Like, and there are some big pieces on it, and I think that's what hurts me about Jack Stone. So you move away from that creative.
Well, yeah.
end of
There's
it.
not even they're not even staying away from plates and finishing details. They're staying away from basic brick.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're even
Yeah.
truncating basic brick in those columns. I mean, that's like that's just the time period it came from in the idea. But yeah, man, this is one heck of a unique theme.
Well, it's almost like they're action figures and less Lego like. Like Lego is a primarily
Oh, they are.
focused
They're action
building
figures. They're
toy.
highly. I'll show you. Yeah, so I'll break one out here. Should I use the girl because she's the most horrifying? Or
Yeah.
should I use
Yeah.
Jack Stone?
Oh yeah.
So-
I have a couple figures at
Okay,
home,
cool.
but they are a bit creepy, and you can't really take them apart either, from what I know.
So that's the other idea: is you cannot disassemble a Jack Stone and interchange it. You want to kind of hit me with the big screen here.
Yep. I got it.
Thanks, Brad.
So, like minifigures,
This hurts me
they
so
do
much.
they have an articulated up, down, back, forth motion. So, and arms are very much like a minifigure, and they're scaled up. But they kind of got this hybrid Technic figure look. Hold on. Where's my camera?
I
on
wonder
my
if they
phone?
would fit well with the new gunship.
Oh, Jesus, that'd be hilarious. I'm sorry it's not coming through, but
I can get the detail.
rendering. They also have this little stub nose on them.
Yeah.
Yes. I remember
Yeah.
that.
So it's that nose, and then the printing of the cartoon printing of the eyes and mouth that make these probably one of the most horrific looking figures.
Like, even if just the arms could come off, I could find a purpose for that. Like, if you could put those on a regular
Oh, no,
minifigure,
you
that would be
can't.
kind of
Yeah.
cool. I know,
Yeah.
but you
Well,
can't.
and
That's the
And they tried to sculpt digits into them instead of the standard clip hands. I mean, okay, you know how CGI has the uncanny valley? Where if you try to make something too real, but it doesn't quite land, it looks like super
Yeah.
creepy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So these figures are the uncanny valley of Lego figures, where it's cartoon enough and somewhat illustrated enough to just be a little to be unsettling. I think that's what it is. Is the faces and are just they're a bit unsettling. And I have some Belleville, like I have Belleville figures, and I think even those read better just because they're very much they line up like Belleville lines up really well with Barbie.
Yeah.
But these are somewhere in between where they're just like creep-tastic.
Yeah.
It's highly experimental would be the way to
And it
put
makes
it.
you,
Yeah.
it makes you appreciate the mini doll. It really does.
Yeah. I love
would
how
say.
you can use the hair pieces on actual minifigures with mini dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and back and forth and all that good stuff. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the rating of this is going to come from two places. One is the figures themselves are, I want to use Jack Stone and a belt. That's why I got all these figures. But I'm going to use them in an incredibly comical and fun way
Yeah.
because it's the only way I can use them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult for me to be serious and put one of these suckers in something. It's always going to be like, is that a Jack Stone?
Add him as a meme in a mock.
Yeah,
Just
it's very
random.
much along
I
those
should
lines.
switch all my medieval minifigures in my town just to Jack Stone.
Well, here's
Or the
my. So I
prisoner.
talked about story. My story's going to center around the zombie apocalypse. Only the zombies are Jack Stone.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call it World War Stone.
Oh my
And it's just a swarm of Jack Stones crawling up the hill to attack the mini dolls and minifigures who are trying to survive.
That's
Wow. That's so funny. That is so funny.
But no, a stone army is like unstoppable, dude. They're like bigger than any figure, so you can't take them down. They're super creepy. They appear and they can't be taken apart, so they're indestructible. No matter how many times you hit them, they don't come apart.
Oh, too good. Too good. Okay,
Yeah.
do we want to
So-
rate these?
I want to quickly. I was going to quickly say this. I know I keep bringing this image, but I'm
Just
just
look
thinking
at
about
that.
this while he's talking about. Okay, doesn't this feel like this is a plane, but just use your imagination? Like, doesn't that like? I hate this set so much on it. Like, you don't know how much
Why?
this set brings anger to me. Because it's like, here's a plane, but that looks nothing like a plane. I hate like.
Well, it's more like a glider with engines on it.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if
Yeah.
you look, it's got that
Yeah.
very much that dragonfly body thing going on.
But like, it feels
You know
like
what it is? It's that front. That front was molded to be a helicopter, and then someone said, "Hey, we should put wings on it."
yeah.
So take a look at it again.
Like it feels like
That's
they were
totally a
just like,
helicopter.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, it
basically,
is.
yeah.
It honestly is. I feel like just by looking at it, it looks like they were like, oh yeah, we want to make a plane set. We got this one that's kind of that one's better. I appreciate those better, but it's like it doesn't feel like a plane. It just feels like here's the skeleton of a plane. Now use your imagination for the rest. Now, Lego is about using your imagination. I just feel like you're trying to use too much imagination to make that feel like it's like here's a swooshable thingy. We don't care what it's called. All right, next. Like,
How
No,
much
no.
were these sets when they
This-
were on the
Let's
shelf?
be very clear. The designer here, I'm not faulting the designer by any stretch because
no.
the designer is working within the parameters of the spec and the
Yes.
brief they were given, which is reduce the part count, use big chunky parts, and then make the thing. And that's pretty much what's going on here, where
Yes.
you don't that helicopter fuselage is pretty much like they're like, okay, I guess I'm gonna reach over here and grab this helicopter fuselage and add some wings on, and then I'm gonna hang this green dude off of this wing. And they're doing the best they can with the briefing they got. I can't fault the designer. It's just
True.
I'm trying to say Lego almost went under for very good reasons, and it runs so contrary to the Lego we know today that of course we're not going to like it. I mean, it's the opposite of what we expect, which is get some good parts that are going to be interchangeable and very adaptable and modifiable. You can't modify these big chunkers. When you have 8 of these big chunks, there's nothing else you can really do with it.
Yeah.
Honestly, for that,
it runs contrary to some of the values of Lego today. So I think this is just one of those historical. This is a variant, and it deserves to be taken from the timeline.
That is very well spoken. That is perfect.
Why? It won't let me open up brick set.
It just doesn't
All
belong.
good, Brad.
It doesn't fit naturally into
doesn't.
the course of Lego.
It doesn't.
Expected.
The TVA should have definitely shown up here.
All the other things that you guys have scored, at least you can look at it and go like, yeah, this actually belongs in the Lego system. Like, I see the system. This one is so weird. It's kind of like, man, something happened to the system.
Yeah. Yeah,
It got
it's
corrupted.
not right. It's just not right.
It needs pruning. Very, very much.
The thing is,
So I
though,
will ask you to read. I will ask either you're gonna have to add another letter, or I will ask you to reconsider Chima and Trolls against the nature of Jack Stone.
I think we need like a.
So by the way, you guys don't know this, but behind the scenes, I was kind of hinting at Jack Stone, and the reason was, I want there to be an accurate representation of the top, middle, and bottom. At the top, I would put Lego Ideas, and at the bottom, I think it's Jack Stone's, pretty close as you can get to truly get a good representation of like, what are we really saying when we say something's bad? I mean, if you're saying like Chima and Trolls or Jack Stone bad, I mean, we may need some more letters here. I don't know.
Well, the thing is with Jack Stone is that you guys might hate me for saying this, but that's okay. I'm going to say it anyways. Although they're not something I would put on my shelf, I feel like if I was a kid, I might have fun with these. I'm not sure though. It's definitely an action adventure vibe.
When was Bionicle out? That was during this time zone.
No, Bionicle was after.
No. Yeah. So yeah.
This was 2001.
Kids had it. I mean, I had Samsonite sets for crying out loud. I had a 39 part Learjet Samsonite set that was what, $5 to $10.
Yeah. And
I played with it and I liked it. And so everybody enjoys the stuff they're given for the time it comes from, but yeah, all things considered against the scale of time and now you've seen like how bad decisions, like how bad it can go.
Yeah.
Not for the design. I'm just talking about the overall briefing and direction at the time.
Chima at least has a sets. They're like these, like, even though how much cringy they are, they're sets, and they got. I want to say we moved Chima and Trolls to an E. Yeah,
I would say don't move them. I would say you need a score of J for Jack Stone. That fits below F.
It's a separate category. It's a separate category. Well, you know what I do like? I like
Or
that
what? Whatever.
they did care about the printing and they cared
Oh,
about
absolutely.
the pieces. And I can't fault them for that because that's what the sets are basically. And in all honesty, I respect the decision to go all out with it in that sense. And I think that, like I mentioned before, even if it's not in this theme, and I know that we're rating the theme, so this argument doesn't really go along with it, but you could do so much with a lot of those parts.
Well, no. I mean, it's manufactured with great care. It's incredibly high quality. I mean, only the best is good enough. I mean, all those Lego principles are there as far as playability, durability, reusability, everything. As far as the execution, right, is high quality.
Yeah.
It was just the intent and the thought of taking someone away to small parts and crazy figures. Man, that's just not the Lego we know. Everything else, as far as the manufacturing and all that, is there. It's just like it's this really bizarre mirrorverse theme.
Other than the
So I'm glad I
figures
could
and the
convince you
set,
guys there
it's
was something
great.
that was even worse than all other stuff that they were reviewed.
Well, it's not worse, it's just different. And it's almost like I can't rate this with other things that we've all rated with
But-
this list.
I almost feel like
Well, you
we
can.
shouldn't put.
You do what everybody does. Like like some unicorn sets are vintage sets for me. Like Town Plan, that's the original Samsonite set. That's my unicorn set. It's the 1960s original
Yeah.
flagship set in the U.S. So age doesn't matter. I mean, you have to ask yourself, would I buy? Like, if someone's going to give me a gift, okay, would I appreciate any of these other themes more than a Jack Stone?
Yes.
And if the answer is yes, then you have your scale.
I might like some of the parts that come with Jack Stone. I'm not gonna lie.
But like, okay,
Yeah.
I would rather get a Chima set and use those parts and
True.
minifigure parts.
But you're not gonna get any other parts like Jack Stone unless it's Jack Stone. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not.
I look at those parts right now, and yes, I could think of if I was doing something huge scale, maybe.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
No,
I know,
That's what I'm
Link,
trying to
and
do.
look at
Guys,
those parts.
Guys, I concur. I was crazy enough to get like 50 of these guys, okay? But I didn't get the set. I got the parts that were interesting to me because they're one-off
Yeah.
great parts.
Yes.
Now, if I get the comprehensive set, I've got a bunch of parts that I got to really wrap my head around how I'm going to disperse it across like 20 months.
That's true. That's a fair point.
Like, they're great one-off seat parts, but man, as a whole, as a totality, it's really tough for me to imagine using more than a windshield or more than like an epic. Like the front grille is a great piece, but it's kind of like its own seat part that's a great highlight, as long as you sort of water it down with all the other elements to not be too crazy.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just
I mean,
like
these are
look at
big
that
parts, but
trailer
then
bag.
again, dang, I mean, you look at the whole and you're like, I'm like, oh my god,
yeah.
I would take Trolls in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fire truck, but it's also not a fire truck at all.
It's exactly what I was going back to about being just a skeleton
You're
of
right.
what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I know. I have Chima. I have Trolls pieces. I have Chima sets. I've got a Chima box hanging on my door because Chima was a highly misunderstood theme. Now, luckily, Monkey Kid is Chima version 2, and that thing's just killing it. But in Trolls, man, talk about pieces. I could use the pieces from Trolls way before Jack Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Just
a
the
fair
colors
point.
alone.
So
That is a fair
the,
point.
But yeah,
the question is,
much misaligned. I'm sorry, the figure's like 50% of it too. Once you see a Jack Stone
Yeah.
figure in person, you begin to understand the slight horror of using those guys.
and that's the thing too, is like it's not always about the figures. You know, the figures can make or break a theme,
Yeah.
yes. But for something like Jack Stone, when everything's so big, the figure is 50% of all these
It's
sets. If
true.
you think about it, like, and I'm trying
Well,
not to
yeah,
just.
too, if you look, all the elements in Jack Stone are designed around that new scale of figure.
Yep.
And it's halfway between a Technic and a minifig. It's not at least Technic, when I build a Technic set, like one of these, like the McLaurin, or for example, or one of those, like a nice mid-scale Technic set, I can usually put my vintage Technic figures next to them, and they look like they'll work. I mean, it looks like it'll kind of work with the vehicle and sit in there and work. Whereas a Jack Stone, I couldn't even tell you like how to. I was originally going to Jack Stone this build here, but even when I the first time I put Jack Stone on the hurt ship, I'm like, this guy does not work.
No, it doesn't fit.
Like
does
the
not.
cannons look wrong. Like all the objects just look freaky next to, and that maybe is why these sets are so stripped down. Is all the other objects that you expect to work with something don't really work with a Jack Stone.
Yeah.
You can't use any of the minifigure pieces because then a shovel looks like a little. It doesn't.
Spoon.
You know what I mean? The shovel looks more like it looks like Honey, I Expanded the Kids. That's what's going on.
Well, it's like
I mean,
taking a
Lynch
Mega
works-
Blocks figure and putting it with Lego. I would say
Yeah.
too. Like it's that same vibe. It's almost like it's not Lego. It's something else.
Yeah.
It's sort
I'm
of
just
like
looking-
a bizarre Connects Lego, but yeah, you see how all those pillars are really popular because they're twice the height of a normal building
Yep.
because they have to be Jack Stone scale, and all of those windscreens are massive and high because they have to be Jack Stone scale. Now, at least the riverboat, works with minifigs now, and some of these carry over into minifigs, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's like all the equipment is very basic. Oh, what? Wait, he's holding a. So that's the first time. If you look
There's
at,
a
so look at the radio.
walkie-talkie. There's a few. If you look closely, there's a walkie-talkie.
There's a megaphone for the one I remember.
Yeah, but that
and,
walkie-talkie actually is accurate. The walkie-talkie is always too supersized for a minifig, but it looks good on Jack Stone. But that might be,
Yeah.
and that it's the same with that big wrench. That big wrench has always looked wrong.
Yeah.
Next to a
Yeah.
minifig. But here
Well,
they look fine.
Ethan, you've been quiet. What
Now,
do you think?
It's one of those things
Okay.
like you can't
I should quickly ask this though.
the more you put your mock hat on and try to design around it, you just realize you're just smashing your head into a wall,
Yeah,
a stone wall.
that's true.
Like I said earlier, other than the figures and the set, it's good.
I don't.
The
I don't
art-
even see
are the
the
boxes any good?
here.
Yeah.
No,
I
they're
call
not.
this theme is a meme
Okay.
theme.
Brad, change that G to a J. It's J for Jack Stone.
Okay, I almost think we should have like. So some people have it so they have like a hell tier, like it's worse than worse than worse, and I feel like we need the Lego version of that.
Jack Stone. It's Jack Stone. There's nothing. I don't think there's
But-
anything
But
below it.
question,
A Galador's.
yeah, I was gonna say, but Galador, like,
Galador's a G.
Yeah. You should make it a G because I have a feeling when it comes time, I give you Jack Stone, but really Galador is going to probably wind up in the same place
Yeah.
we need to.
It's
we need to
just
make
not.
because Galador
Lego.
is another one of those really, really freaky themes that never worked out.
It's
Yeah.
a meme theme. If you're gonna use it, it's gonna make people laugh.
Pretty much.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's that.
I mean, I don't feel like we can have any great
so I would
discussions
say,
about
like-
this. We all
Yeah, so
understand it's
basically, like,
We
Yeah,
finally
I mean,
agree on something.
Belleville and like Fabuland is super cute, so it's going to rise above. Belleville's a little weird in scale, but you can make it work along with Technic figures because you can get a Technic scale in there to MOCs and make it work. But yeah, when you get into Galador and Jack Stone, you're dealing with some really freaky stuff.
Yeah.
Huh. I want to see a Jack Stone mock, like based on the Jack Stone story, a good one. That's what I want to see. If somebody do out there.
You know what? I talked about always taking on a new challenge to learn something, and that's I'm kicking that can down the road. That's how
boy.
I
You got
it is.
50 of them.
I love your idea though. That's perfect. That's
I'm
such
not
a
seeing.
creative.
No,
You're
you guys
looking-
know that my sig fig is so expensive. The reason I bought all these Jack Stones is I'm almost gonna make it like a trolling meme, where if anybody asks for my sig fig, I'm just gonna hand them a Jack Stone figure,
I love that.
I
and they're gonna be
I-
like, "What the hell did I just do?"
So funny. That doesn't look like you, Moto. Oh wait. Oh
No, you know what I mean. Like my sticker, my brand is really me, and
Yeah.
you know I always give out a sticker to someone who wants it. But I thought it would be fun just to have like something that was so absolutely not the Moto thing. Like it's like so intentionally bad people know it's a joke. And I think a Jack Stone is like right in that sweet spot.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, this cursed image popped
What?
up while I
Oh,
was
Lordy.
looking.
Does that
So you
actually come
can't
apart
keep
like
them
that?
apart.
I guess if you try hard enough, this is what I can
I
do.
don't think I would try because I think if I tried, I would break it. This looks
Probably
to
like
be.
Well,
Well,
I've got
it's-
50 of them, so let me try. We'll do.
Don't break it, Moto.
So-
Well, I guess.
and
if you
here's a
break it-
segment on Will It Break?
Well, no, I'm trying to find what's the most popular. Okay, so I've got like a million of these dudes. So it's going to be the firefighter. No.
Oh boy.
Use
Oh
your
no.
long tongue,
Yes.
and that might
There-
help.
There are
Come
no
full
Jack
circle.
Stone. If you look up Jack Stone mock, there are none.
There's an open market for Jack Stone mocks. Okay.
So check out that awesome mustache on that dude.
Ooh.
Okay, so
Oh,
I have
my
Technic
goodness.
hand. So if it's possible to take this apart by hand, I will be able to do it.
Boy. Uh-oh. Here we go. Will it break? Moto is doing his best.
God.
He's trying his hardest. He's giving it all he's got.
No,
And it just
No, you
won't
need
come
tools.
apart.
no, I mean the
it
arms.
looks
I can
like
definitely see. I can see how I can pop the arms off. I could do that. That's not a big deal. It's the torso that I'm.
but what do you do with it even
No,
if
this
you
is
do
not
take it
designed. This torso
apart?
is not designed to come apart.
No. That's
Like
crazy.
Duplo.
It's like Fabulous. You basically need tools to accomplish what they were showing in that photo.
Wow.
Okay, for the
Yeah, you-
record though, I quickly looked on YouTube to look for Jack Stone mocks, and there are a bunch of like Jack Stone videos, it looks like, from the time. And so later I'll be watching those because I kind
Oh,
of want to
boy.
know what.
I'm curious too. Yeah. All right. Well, I think
Tell
it's
you what,
time
if
for
If it looks, if it has Tom Cruise's voice, I'm gonna die.
that would
We
be
will watch this afterwards and figure out how bad these really are.
that would be too good. All right, Ethan. Meme time. Go for
Am
it.
I doing the intro?
You're doing the intro. I'm hands
Let's do it.
off. Hands
do it.
off.
Okay. It's Stud Buds memes.
Let's get these
Okay.
going.
So we got some fan, like we got I Don't Want Touch sent these amazing memes. So
He also
It's-
sent
we-
me a couple that he wanted me to pop on.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
okay,
Here we go.
We might
Show
wanna,
yours.
we might want to do that together. If I Don't Want Touch,
Yeah.
you might, it might be best if it's a group. So be sure to
I
get.
don't
Is it
want
ready?
touch. Yeah.
I mean, they're all up there. I can just quickly
Okay.
grab them.
Okay. So we got. Well, we'll start with this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Every masterpiece has a cheap copy.
You know, people have told me that I look like him, but I never
know,
saw
people
it
tell me that
until
too.
now.
And I see it looks more like you than it
I
does like
see
me.
it. I see
get that
it.
every day. Like
I've also gotten Daniel Radcliffe, like
Yeah.
the newer Daniel Radcliffe, not the Harry Potter,
Yeah.
younger Daniel, but the current day Daniel. And in high school, everybody used to tell me that I looked like Tobey Maguire, but I think that was my younger, more subtle face.
No,
with this.
That's hilarious. That's
dude.
too good. I love
and
it.
then we got Moto.
Jesus.
Wait, he's the same? Oh my goodness! I thought he
I'm
was
exactly
playing
the
Moto. I
I'm
thought.
just saying, no. That was like double redundant.
Yeah. And then
I'm
we
trying
got
to figure out which one's the cheap
Brad.
copy. That's what's confusing me.
What?
Oh, come on.
What? Aiden, come here. I'm gonna kick your butt. All right.
Oh my
Cheap
goodness.
one.
So
okay, I'm guessing it's the same thing. Very
yes.
similar.
So
It's
we
not
got
me,
we
probably.
got Zane.
Ah, from the new Black Widow movie.
This one I think there's someone who reflects him better, but I agree on this.
Unless he has a Russian accent. Okay, I don't.
Oh,
see
wow.
it.
I think
Maybe
we all know it, but Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order. The actor who plays him looks a lot better.
I
like that.
kinda see it. Kinda.
Kind of. My brother actually has a big red jacket like that, so maybe I could.
I kind of see it. All right, you got more, Ethan.
Let's just leave it on that one. Poor Brad.
I'm gonna kick his butt.
Brad, I think that was because he couldn't find anybody that you looked like. I think that was the problem.
I'm just my own self.
Do you have any other one?
Oh yes.
Any other? I don't
trying
want
to
touch
see what-
ones.
There's one from Randomly Random, but it's
No,
about
you know
Zane,
what?
and I'll
You
save
guys,
it for
you
next
guys
week.
need to pull. You guys need to pull a picture of Rick Astley and compare it. That might match.
Oh, I see that. Okay, so we got this one was of Matt. When Matt
Matt-
sees a set with printing instead of stickers.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I really don't like stickers.
This was your reaction from last
Talked
stud
about
buds.
that.
This is
Yeah, we
exactly
talked about that earlier.
That was literally me realizing that
Mhm.
something was
Yeah.
printed and not a
Mhm.
sticker, and me being happy.
Yeah.
That literally was the moment.
Mhm. And then I made this one of Moto. This one's my favorite.
It's true. It's true.
Can you?
It's so true.
All right. May I
We will
please
send
have
you
a
that.
copy of that?
Yes. Yes.
So you guys don't know it, but the Flash is my favorite superhero of all time. So the fact that you put that
Yes.
together,
Good job, Ethan. You did
yeah,
it.
okay. Oh my
And that's
god!
funny
that's-
because
Oh my god! So who did that one?
That was
I
Ethan.
did.
Yeah. So Ethan, when you send it over, you have to tell me, how to credit you.
It's
'Cause that's one of the
whatever.
rules.
I don't
is
care.
I can't make names myself, but if someone else does, I can always like it and share it. That is
Yeah, I can
insane.
put like something in the corner
Wow!
or
Thank
something.
you
I
so
don't know.
much. Thank you.
hilarious.
I love it. Like,
Oh, wait.
it's funny
Yeah.
that Matt basically mentioned this earlier in the stream.
That is
Ethan, you
really
could-
funny.
You could throw it up on the Stud Buds page, and then he can share it from there.
Mhm.
Send them an actual copy though.
That's
Give them
so
a high
funny.
quality version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do know we have one
the funny
more.
story is, yeah, the cast from season 2 definitely said I was the fastest to the pit and back.
Yeah.
I learned last week that Boone allegedly is really fast to the pit and back. So when I meet him, we're gonna try to have
race.
You gotta have a
we're
pit
gonna
off.
try to
Have a
have
raise.
we're gonna try to have a brick pit speed test.
Yeah.
Wow, I love
Between
that.
flash and reverse flash. So this is gonna be cool.
Well, if you watch the Australian Lego Masters, Jordy, he was
Jordy's
really
fast.
quick.
Yeah. Well, Jordy actually is now a marathoner. He wound up picking up running after the show
Really?
and is an actual runner. Yeah, he is an actual legit runner.
I love that so much. That is too
Yep.
perfect.
That's what Lego can do to you.
All right, Brad,
Change your
send
life.
us home.
Yeah.
Wait. No, I know. Ethan, don't you have it?
Or do you have it,
What-
Ethan?
I
The
can pull it
last
up.
meme?
Was there another meme?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. it
This
was the
one,
late
this one was from Randomly Random. And playing at Moto while he cuts Lego.
Oh, I love
Huge
that.
shout out to Randomly Random.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's great.
That is the general. The general look isn't even in the guy in the middle. It's the guy in the lower right. Is
Yeah.
usually the look I get, or the one on the lower left.
I like
It's
the guy
look
behind
of
him
complete
too.
Bewilderment. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
too
accurate. That's fair.
Too good. All right,
But
are those all the memes?
Yeah.
there's one left, but we can save it for next week because
It's for Zane.
We should. Wait. Oh, yeah.
Unless we want to talk about Zane behind his back, but I don't think.
Let's
we
do
need
it.
to that.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Let the man defend himself.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel about it too. Well, guys, that was an incredible show, and I learned a lot, and I'm just
Mhm.
glad to get a greater understanding of what it was like to be on the show. Moto, you were
That's all you need to
honestly you were fantastic to watch on Lego Masters Season 2, and if anybody has not yet seen it, at least the first 4 episodes, go check it out, because this guy, he's amazing. He does a great job. And I just want to thank you so much for coming onto our show.
Yes,
it truly
thank
does
you.
mean
Oh,
the world.
I I'm very fortunate in that I'm active in the community, and a lot of people, I think, know me outside of the show.
Mhm.
So it's always great to be able to hang out with folks like you, or get invitations from you guys, because I don't think every my other brick brothers and brick sisters get that very much. I think that they are, they're part of the convention circuit, they're part of the print side or the blog side or this, that, and the other, or they're incredible mock builders. But they're not as heavily integrated into YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, which are the big heavies.
Yeah.
As far as the social circles that a lot
Yeah,
of us fly around in. So I'm always willing to hang out with any of the the TikTok or YouTube community, and enjoy and have a fun time, and see some awesome memes and get something out of it. To give you a little insight into the bizarre nature of how I think or assemble things, and then of course talk about the show, of course.
Well, we loved hearing about it.
Yes.
You
this
two
was
have
awesome.
anything left that you would like to say?
No.
Thank you so much, Moto.
Yes, thank you.
I'm excited to see you next week.
that was a joke.
Yeah, you're gonna be yeah. Come see
Brick
me,
Rodeo. Yes, I
and-
thought you meant the show. I was like, what? Got it.
Yeah. Come see me. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be like. I'll say that.
I have no
know
clue.
that a lot
Yeah.
of people said they're really excited to see me, but once again, it's the volume. So
Yeah.
if I get the mad rush against me, then I may not have a lot of time for each person. But
Yeah.
Ethan, you just got to
I
corner
hope
him
that there's
after,
enough
it
day
closes.
in this time. No, it's kind of a joke, but I actually have 2 bouncers set up ready to go on my behalf if I need to have crowd control. So
Oh boy, that's crazy. Well, like I said, thank you so much, Moto, for being a part of this show. It was a lot of fun to do with you, and we would love to have you on again. My last question for you, though: did you have fun?
sure.
No.
Oh yeah. No, here? Yeah, absolutely. This
Here.
was a blast.
Okay. Would you do it again if we asked you to come on another time for something?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Sounds
this is crazy,
great.
dude.
That was a long pause. I was a little nervous, but sounds great. Well,
No,
We-
I can assure you the pause is because I'm running my cell phone off of cellular traffic, and so
All
you
good.
guys are maybe going like 4 frames per second at best.
oh boy. Well, you really
Like
kept up then, my dude. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Well, it was an absolute pleasure to have you. And thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Or if you're watching this in the replay, thank you for watching the video. Leave a comment down below telling us what you learned about this episode of the Stud Buds live stream. And catch us all on TikTok. Go follow Moto. Go follow the Stud Buds Discord and all of our social media. We will see you in the next live. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.